Life with Dexter. With the demise of the lavish, high-budget Colgate-Palmolive unit in 1952, its former members had to look for other work. A proposal was made to use the scripts of the popular U.S. radio show Blondie to broadcast an Australian version. When a copyright dispute ended this project, it was decided to create a new series called Life with Dexter, with ex-Colgate unit member Willie Fennell playing the Dagwood Bumstead role as bumbling Dexter Dutton. Joining Dexter were Jessie, his somewhat sharp-tongued wife, and their 2 children.
The Commonwealth Savings Bank of Australia, the bank for all the family, takes pleasure in presenting the show for all the family, Life with Dexter.
If money can buy it, saving will get it. So bank Commonwealth now.
For a car or a bike or just a rainy day,
Be sure to save the friendly Commonwealth way.
so listen to this advice and start right today.
To bank Commonwealth, save Commonwealth Bank, Commonwealth now.
Life with Dexter is never dull at any time, because if Dexter's not busy inventing something, he's at least trying out new ideas. But whatever he's doing, you can be sure he's getting the Dutton household into some kind of turmoil. This evening's situation concerns hypnotism. Dexter wanted to prove to his family that all hypnotists are phonies. The trouble began one morning just before Dexter came down to breakfast.
Ashley, I've told you it's no good asking me. You'll have to ask your father, and you know what the answer will be.
Oh, but gee, Mum, I've never seen a real hypnotist on the
Look,
stage.
the word hypnotist to your father's like red rag to a bull. Only the bull mightn't be quite as ferocious as your father.
Ashley, why don't you drop the subject? Who wants to see a silly hypnotist with a name like Boner the Greatest? I do, that's who. Anyhow, I don't need you to give me advice.
Well, you should take your sister's advice this time and drop the subject.
I'll drop my sister in a minute.
Now, Ashley, now that's enough. Now, when your father comes to breakfast, you're entitled to ask him anything you please. And if he says yes, you can go. It's all right with me.
Well, there's not much chance of him saying yes as there is of Compost winning a beauty contest.
Dexter, will you hurry down? You'll be late for the office.
Down in a minute, dear.
Mum, would you mind if I use some tactics on Dad? It's no good me asking him straight out. Can I work on him a bit like you do?
I beg your pardon.
Well, you know, you're an absolute master at getting Dad to agree to things by a roundabout way. I've seen you get Dad to take you dancing by telling him you're both too old to go out.
You leave my plans alone. If you must use tactics, well, invent your own.
Oh, here's Daddy now. Morning, Daddy.
Morning, everybody. I'm sorry I'm late, dear, but my electric razor's giving me trouble. Just wouldn't cut. Ashley, you haven't been messing about with it.
Oh, me? Well, I haven't been shaving with it, but I soon have to start. I've got hairs on my chin.
Yeah, I've noticed. They're both nice, soft, curly ones. Anyway, I didn't ask if you've been shaving. I asked if you've been messing about with my razor.
Well, I reckon it depends on what you mean by messing about. I did borrow it yesterday to prove if what they say in the advertisements is true.
What advertisements? What do they say?
Well, they say that your brand of electric razor will shave the bristles off a wire brush.
They... What?
Ashley, you did.
You shave wire bristles with my razor?
Well, I tried, but it doesn't work too well.
Oh, Jessie, this son of yours deserves a good sound thrashing.
Yes, dear, and your son could do with one, too. However, have your breakfast before it's stone cold. You can speak to Ashley later.
Speak to him? I never want to speak to him again.
Dad?
Well, what is it?
Oh, I don't mind if you give me a belting this afternoon or every afternoon this week, but I'd like to ask one favor. It's about next Saturday night.
The answer is no.
Well, there's a beaut show on at the local town hall.
The answer is no.
Supposing I told you that Sabrina's appearing in person.
The answer is... Sabrina? She's appearing in person?
No, she's not, but, well, better than that. There's a hypnotist called Boner the Greatest,
Get out of my sight.
But, Dad, this Boner the Greatest is a
Never
real...
mind Boner the Greatest. You've just made the greatest boner of your life. Now get out of
here. Mom, when Dad gets home, would it be safe to ask... Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know Mrs. Wilmot was with you.
Oh, don't mind me, Ashley, there. Don't you dare ask your father about that hypnotist again. I thought he was going to hit you this morning with his bacon and eggs.
Good gracious. I take it you're talking about this man, Boner the Great.
Not the Great. He's the greatest.
Oh.
He's showing for one night only at the Asheville Town Hall next Saturday. But Dad can't stand hypnotists.
Oh, I think they're wonderful.
Clara, do you think you could persuade Dexter?
Oh, I think I could, Jessie, dear. Why do you think they call me Crafty Clara? Now, by the time Dexter gets home, I'll have a campaign all mapped out, dear. The Duttons and the Wilmots are going to this show next Saturday, and that's for sure.
Gee, Mrs. Wilmot, you're mighty. You're massive.
I know, dear, but I'm on a diet. Now, come on, children, let's put our heads together and plot our strategy.
Yes, now, where do we start?
Oh, if we had Boner the Greatest here, he could hypnotize Dad for us.
Oh, I wish he'd come to my house and hypnotize me. He might be able to make me think Kimberly looks like Gregory Peck. And not a hippopotamus.
While we're on the subject of hypnotism, I'd like to say a few words about self-hypnotism. And by that I mean people who hypnotize themselves into believing all sorts of things. For instance, some people believe that they have no need to save. And probably the reason why they believe that is because they don't understand the real purpose of saving. And in case anyone listening may not know either, I'll explain. According to the Commonwealth Savings Bank, the real purpose of saving is to make your wages go further and to make your money do more for you by giving you a better, fuller, and easier life. And that is why the Commonwealth Savings Bank urges you to save. That is why the Commonwealth Savings Bank staff give you every help and encouragement to save. So why not make your wages go further so that your life may be better, fuller, and easier? And you can do this if you open a Commonwealth Savings Bank account and week by week, Bank Commonwealth.
Hey, I can hear Dad coming now.
Good, Ashley. Now just leave everything to Crafty Clara, dear.
Come in, KG. Hi, family. I'm home.
Oh, we're all out here in the kitchen, dear.
Clara, why aren't you next door getting my dinner on the table?
A good question. And why aren't you next door ready to have your dinner?
Ask a silly question and you're asked a silly question. I just called in here with Dexter because we were discussing an important matter.
Oh, Jessie and the children and I were discussing an important matter, too. We were talking about hypnotism.
Clara, please don't mention that word in this house. It's worse than any swear word. I don't believe it's possible for anyone to hypnotize anyone.
Oh, Dexter, don't talk nonsense. Hypnotic suggestion is now accepted and practiced by the medical profession.
Then I don't believe in the medical profession.
Daddy, you mustn't go like an ostrich and bury your head in the sand.
Your father's like an ostrich in more ways than one.
Now, when you men came in, I was just telling Jessie and the children. I once read a scientific book on hypnotism.
Clara, I didn't know you'd even read a book.
I will ignore that. This book was written by a famous professor, and it told how some people, Dexter, but very few people, have the power in their eyes and their voices to practice hypnotism.
Gee, maybe even one of us has the power.
Absolute rubbish.
Dexter, how can you say that? I'm sure my wife has the power. She's only got to look at me and open her big mouth and I'm hypnotized.
You will be pulverized in a minute.
Pretend the men aren't here, Clara.
Yes.
Tell me, what kind of eyes and voice did this book say one must have to be hypnotic?
Oh, well, dear, for example, you and I, we couldn't hypnotize anyone.
Oh.
And now I've been studying Ashley and Jenny, and they couldn't either, dear. And Kimberly doesn't have any hypnotic powers.
And neither do I or anyone else.
Dexter! Dexter, say that again.
Say what again?
Oh, say anything, dear. Keep talking. Oh, it's remarkable. I've never noticed it before.
No, noticed what?
I think she means how your Adam's apple bobs up and down.
Dexter, say something for Clara. She wants to hear your voice again.
Say a piece of poetry, Dad.
Oh, this is ridiculous. Mary had a little lamb, its fleece was white as snow, and everywhere that Mary went, this stupid thing followed her.
It is amazing. That voice, those eyes. Oh, you've every quality described in the professor's book, Dexter. You have everything a hypnotist needs, dear. If only you'd found it out earlier in life. You could have had a career on the stage. Oh. You could have made a fortune for yourself like this man here.
Boner the Greatest.
Oh, yes, Boner the Greatest. I understand he's performing at the local town hall next Saturday night.
That's right, Mummy, so he is.
Well, never mind him. We're discussing me. Clara, are you sure about my eyes and my voice?
Mm-hmm.
I bought a few little books on hypnotism once before, but it didn't work out.
Oh, that's because you bought silly books written by ratbags, dear. Now, you should get good scientific ones from the public library. And another thing you should do is go along and see this Boner the Greatest and study him carefully.
Clara, he's probably just a phony charlatan. I have no intention of spending money to watch a faked-up show. I could be practicing my own genuine hypnotic powers.
Oh, Jessie, dear, it's not working out the way I planned, dear.
You know, already I can feel this power within me.
Mrs. Wilmot, may I try a switch and work another plan?
Oh, yes, dear, go ahead.
Ashley, what are you whispering about?
Dad, an idea just struck me. If you are really a hypnotist and can put people under a spell, we could have our own little show right here on Saturday night.
I suppose that's true, we could.
But if by any chance you don't turn out to be a hypnotist, then would you take us all to see Boner the Greatest?
Now, that's a good fair wager, Dexter. You have until, say, Saturday midday to prove your hypnotic powers.
Well, Jessie, I didn't know. All right, I'll accept that bet. If by Saturday midday I haven't learned to hypnotize and demonstrated it to your amazement, then I'll take everyone, including the Wilmots, to the show at the town hall.
Oh, Dexter, you're crazy. This is going to cost you about $5.
It's going to cost me nothing because I'm going to win.
Brother, if you prove you're a hypnotist, then I'll prove pigs can fly.
Kimberly, you've already proved that, dear, the first time you took a trip by plane.
Oh, Dexter, please turn on your side and stop snoring.
Hypnotism. Hypnotist. Career on the stage. Hypnotist.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is with pride and pleasure that I present to you here on this stage the greatest hypnotist in the world today. He can control the mind of any person or living creature, and he will bend your will to his command. I give you the amazing, the astounding, the one and only Dutto the Great.
My dear public, it is gratifying for me to see a packed theatre this evening on this, my 1,000th performance. How wonderful to notice every seat occupied, and for me to know that each and every one of you paid 5 guineas to attend. Especially wonderful because you are here of your own free will and not under my hypnosis. And now, on with the show.
On with the show. Dutto the Great would now like 6 ladies and gentlemen who are willing to be hypnotized to kindly step onto the stage. Thank you, madam, this way, please. That's it, only 6, no more. That's it, 6 ladies and 6 gentlemen. Now kindly seat yourselves on the chairs and you will be called as required.
Now, young lady, would you please come forward?
Oh, thank you for calling me a young lady. You are hypnotic.
What is your name?
Mrs. Button.
Oh, well, Mrs. Button, I want you to look into my eyes, deep into my eyes. There is nothing to be afraid of. You hear every word I say, and you do as I say, because what I say is what you believe I say. Look deeper into my eyes, listen to my voice, and believe everything I say.
I do. I believe everything you say.
Listen carefully. Your name is Millie Higgins. Millie Higgins, and you're a lass from Lancashire.
No, that's who I am.
No, you're not. No, you're a French mannequin.
Oui, I model dresses from Paris.
You do no such thing. How can you model dresses in Paris when you're as Irish as the shamrock?
Sure and begorra, I was born in a little village a wee step from Killarney.
Aha, no, you weren't. You were born in Russia, and you're a dancer with the Russian Ballet Company. Now, what is your name?
Olga Krasnitsky. I dance the Umsk and the Bumsk. And my leading partner is Gregory Istandonovich.
Now, when I snap my fingers, you will once again be Mrs. Button, a lady attending my show at the town hall.
Good evening. My name is Mrs. Button.
Thank you, Mrs. Button. You may resume your seat. Now, you, young man, would you mind stepping forward?
Oh, please, Mr. Dado, don't make me speak in funny accents. I don't know any.
Very well. What is your name, young man?
Ashley Mutton.
Look deep into my eyes, Ashley, and believe every word I say. Look deeper and deeper and hear nothing but my voice.
I can't hear another thing.
You hear my voice and understand all I say. My word, Fido, you are a nice little puppy dog. And listen now, Fido, there's a stranger coming in our front gate. Aha! Who ever heard of a rooster barking? You know you're not a puppy dog, you're a proud rooster, and it's time for you to crow because the sun is just coming up. Hold it! Now hold it! You're not a rooster, you're a hen.
I think I'm going to lay an egg.
You are Ashley Mutton, and you're here on the stage with me.
Gee, Mr. Dado, when are you going to ask me to do something?
Some other time, young fella. Back to your seat now. Would the young lady wearing the pink hat please step out here?
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you so very much for calling me that.
For calling you young?
Yes, and for calling me a lady. What are you going to do with me? Something exciting, I hope.
We'll see. Your name, please.
Clara Dillpot. Mrs. Clara Dillpot, unfortunately.
Tell me, do you sing, Mrs. Dillpot?
Oh, no, I don't. Not a note. If I sang, everyone would run out. I once sang in the bath and the water ran out. Oh, please ask me to look deep into your eyes. I can't resist them.
Very well. Look deep into my eyes.
Yes.
Deeper, deeper. You now believe everything I say because you know it's true.
Oh, I know it's true. I know it's true.
Your name is Griselda Galloway, and you're a famous operatic star. You're a light soprano. No, I'll change that. You're a heavy soprano. And I see you sing Faust.
I sing Faust. I also sing slow.
You will now sing for us that lovely old popular ballad, I Love You Truly.
I love you truly, truly, dear. Life with its sorrows, life with its tears, fades into dreams when I feel you are near. But I love you truly, truly, dear.
Thank you very much. You are now once again Mrs. Clara Dillpot. No, you are now Clara Dillpot.
about it, Dexter. He always seems to be having dreams or nightmares about something. Of course, most of us have had dreams at times, but usually they're only daydreams. For instance, you often hear people say, I'd love to go to England, or I'd love to have a car. Young people are especially given to daydreaming, and so I'd like to tell them how to get the things they dream about. Hundreds of thousands of people saving in the Commonwealth Savings Bank are turning dreams into realities. By saving each payday in a Commonwealth Savings Bank account, they are getting the things they want. As the slogan says, if money can buy it, saving will get it. So if you want something, save for it, and you'll get it all right. But don't put off saving. Start this week. You young people will never get a better opportunity to save than you have right now. Make your dreams come true. Open a Commonwealth Savings Bank account next payday, and from then on week by week, Bank Commonwealth.
Dexter, will you finish your breakfast? Why are you staring at Janie like that?
Hey? Oh, I'm not staring.
Dad's trying to hypnotize us, Mum. A while ago, he was piercing me with his X-ray eyes.
I was not.
Oh, I wish someone had hypnotized me last night so I could sleep. Your father was moaning and yelling and snapping his fingers all night.
If you must know, Jessie, I was dreaming I was a famous hypnotist. I was Dutto the Great.
Jumping jellyfish.
It's a wonder you weren't Nutto the Great.
Daddy, why don't you give in now and admit you'll never hypnotize anyone before Saturday? Then we can all go and see this silly show.
I'll admit nothing, Janie, because I intend using my special powers and I'm going to hypnotize lots of people. I might even start on KG at the office today. I learned a lot in my sleep last night.
Nevertheless, I have a feeling we'll be seeing Bona the Greatest on Saturday. Oh, Dad, I didn't tell you this, but he's a wizard at post-hypnotic suggestion.
What is that?
Well, that's being able to put a suggestion into someone's head, but it doesn't take effect until sometime later.
For example, Dexter, if I say to you the time is 8:30, it mightn't register now, but later on it might.
I still contend this Bona character is a complete fraud. He probably hasn't got the eyes or the voice like I have for putting any... Hey, 8:30! I'm going to miss my bus! Oh! Look into my eyes. Look deep into my eyes. Deeper, deeper. Your eyes are getting heavy, and you hear nothing but my voice. You believe everything I say because I am the one saying it.
Dexter, will you come into my office for a minute?
Shit, wait, KG. I'm hypnotizing someone. Yes, you believe everything I say. You are sleepy. You cannot resist sleep. But you hear my voice telling you the truth.
Dexter, I want you in my office.
In a moment, KG. You are now sleeping soundly, and I'll tell you who you are. You are the famous actor, Sir Lawrence Olivier. Speak to me, Sir Lawrence.
For the last time, Dexter, will you come into my office and put down that poor little kitten?
Now, Dexter, dear, it's almost midday Saturday, so why not admit defeat? I must have been wrong about you having hypnotic eyes and a voice.
I still have 10 minutes before it's 12 o'clock. Clara, I nearly had you under my spell a moment ago. You almost believed you were Marlon Brando.
I almost believed nothing of the kind. You'll never make me believe I'm Marlon Brando, any more than you'd make me believe I'm a plate of chopped liver.
Dexter, admit it to your family and everyone. You've tried and you've failed.
Yes, dear, be generous about it. Now you've lost the wager, and tonight you're taking us all to see Bona the Greatest.
Oh, well, all right.
Dad, you little beauty! Anyhow, I'm glad my father doesn't have hypnotic powers.
But there's one thing I want you all to know. By proving that I couldn't hypnotize anyone, I'm now positive hypnotism is completely silly, and I'm convinced this Bona is nothing but a fake.
Oh, no, he's not, Dad. He's a master of post-hypnotic suggestion.
Post-hypnotic fiddle-faddle.
Dexter, if you're so sure boners are fake, why don't you go on the stage tonight and prove it to yourself one way or the other?
I will. I will too, Jessie, if I get a chance. I'll tell you what, I'll be the first one on the stage and just let him try to put me into a trance.
To do that, he'd have to put you out of the one you're in all the time.
Oh, well, it's good to be home. But I really enjoyed that show.
Oh, it was most enlightening, dear.
Boy, I reckon Boner was mighty.
Well, he isn't a bad entertainer, but he's no hypnotist.
Jenny, dear, put a cloth on the small table and I'll get some supper.
All right, Mummy.
Dexter, how can you say the man was no hypnotist? You were on the stage and you saw him hypnotize a dozen people.
Everyone on that stage except me was a paid stooge. You didn't see me doing any of the things the others did.
Well, Dexter, it's possible you weren't a good subject because you didn't believe in the man.
If he can hypnotize, then why didn't he hypnotize me? You saw him try to make me canter like a horse and croak like a frog, but did I do it? No.
Dexter, a couple of times Boner seemed to whisper something in your ear. What was it?
He whispered in my ear 3 times and said I was to be a parrot, but it went in one ear and out the other. Fancy me being a parrot.
Well, look, dear, I suggest we drop the whole subject before there's an argument. The main thing is we all had a good time. Now, who's for tea and who's for coffee?
Oh, you know me, Jessie, dear. I love my cup of tea.
Oh, so do I. But it's no trouble to make coffee if anyone wants it.
Jessie, if you're sure it's no trouble, I'd prefer coffee.
How about you, Dexter? Do you want tea or coffee?
Cocky wants a cup of tea. Cocky wants a cup of tea.
While the family try to convince Dexter he's not a parrot, I'd like to have a chat with all those parents listening tonight. Have you ever thought how important it is that your children be taught the value of money? There are many ways to teach them. For instance, it's a good idea to let them actually see how much money various things cost. Also to tell them how long Dad has to work to earn the money to buy those things. It's a good idea, too, to give them Commonwealth Savings Bank money boxes and open trust accounts for them. Let them see what they can buy as a result of saving. These lessons can stand the children in good stead all their lives and can go a long way to ensuring their future happiness. So open trust accounts for your children. Take them along to the Commonwealth Savings Bank and let them see for themselves the friendly service that bank offers. Teach them week by week to bank Commonwealth.
If money can buy it, saving will get it. So bank Commonwealth now.
For a car or a bike or just a rainy day,
Be sure to save the friendly Commonwealth way.
so listen to this advice and start right today.
To bank Commonwealth, save Commonwealth Bank, Commonwealth now.
Life with Dexter is produced by Noel Judd and written by Willie Fennell. And this is John Dunn inviting you to enjoy Life with Dexter at the same time next week from this station. And remember, you'll always enjoy life with a Commonwealth Savings Bank account.
I'm well and happy night and day, and the reason I'll confess. For Andrew's liver salt gives everybody in a cleanliness.
Once, an acquaintance was boring Mark Twain with tales of his ills. I've toothache and earache together, he moaned. Can you imagine a worse combination? Yes, replied the humorist, suffering simultaneously from rheumatism and St. Vitus dance.
The best combination, of course, is inner cleanliness and perfect health. And that's ensured by the regular use of Andrew's liver salt. Andrew's, the pleasant effervescent laxative, expels poisonous waste from the body. Gently bubbling Andrew's soothes your stomach and neutralizes excess acidity. Andrews also animates your liver, dispelling the causes of bilious headaches and sluggishness. Yes, Andrews certainly ensures inner cleanliness. So drink your health in a regular morning glass of sparkling Andrews liver salt.
Baker Boy makes better bread.
Baker Boy makes better bread. Your taste says there's a difference.
It's Baker Boy, it's better bread. You can taste the difference.
It's flavor fresh. This better bread will fast become your preference.
Baker Boy makes better bread.
You can taste the difference.
It's a widely recognized fact that good mornings begin with Gillette. Your work is a pleasure. You feel like promotion once you've caught on to this grand shaving notion. Shave with a blue Gillette blade, there's not a whisker left standing. Your face feels smooth and soft. Blue Gillette blades provide the world's fastest, most economical shave. Ask for Blue Gillette blades by name and be sure of a good morning.
I am now happy to present two very old talkies. Yes, it's our two old-fashioned girls, Ada and Elsie.
Is there any mail, Ide?
Is there? Else, this is the great day in our social register. The letter's arrived from our butler.
Our butler?
Yes.
Oh, read it quickly, Ada. My inside's going round like a clock.
Well, calm down before it begins to chime.
Ida, don't keep me in suspense. Read the letter.
All right. Dear Miss Smith, I wish to notify you that I will take up my duties as your butler on Wednesday next. Yours respectfully, C. Smythe, RAF.
Oh, I say, Smythe. One of those hookup names.
Yes.
Oh, RAF, Royal Air Force. He'll bring a real bit of old England.
We should bring a real bit of old Scotch. Oh, what am I saying? And me a strict DDT.
That'll do, Ada. You know you go mad with a drink.
I'll go madder without it, Elsie.
Oh, this butler will cost us a bit of money, Ada.
Oh, well, Mum will have to start scraping.
Yes, and Dad will have to stop scrapping. The butler's initials are C. Yes. I wonder what it stands for, Ida.
Oh, it's bound to be Charles, Elsie. Sounds so butlerish. Can't you just picture us, Elsie, saying, Charles, bring us our fan mail?
Ah, yes, Ada, and him walking in with a silver saliva.
Yeah.
Ida, do we have to tip him for his trouble?
We'll have to wait first, Elsie, to see what his trouble is.
Ida, what if he should fall in love with me?
Oh, God. He might be a waiter, but he's not a dumb waiter. Oh,
Ida, but think of the news scoop. Famous radio star marries a butler.
Star? You mean Comet?
Don't be silly, Ada. A comet's got a tail.
You heard me, Elsie. Very idea marrying your butler.
Oh, I've got to marry somebody. I'm 26 already.
You might be already, but you can't marry your butler. Oh, with the name of Smith, too.
It's not Smith, it's Smythe.
Oh, pardon. The butler, indeed. I never heard such nonsense.
It'd be the greatest romance since Lord Nelson and Lady Godiva.
Well, forget the romance for a minute and let's get on to his duties.
All right,
hurry up.
Ide, what if we got him a coachman's uniform and let him drive us round in that little cart like we did when we were kids?
Oh, no, Elsie. Mama's too old to go in the shafts now.
Perhaps he could act as a chauffeur, Ide.
Oh, don't be silly. You can't ask an English butler to pump up bike tyres.
Oh, I say. But, Ide, can't you just picture him, a tall, straight Englishman?
Yes, like a stick of rhubarb dipped in thin starch.
Ide, I hope he's tall like Chips Rafferty with a lisp like Charles Boyer.
Oh, no, Elsie, we don't want a lanky bloke with two accents. Remember that RAF pilot I did a line with, Elsie? You know, the one with the curl you mow?
Oh, and how you used to fight every time your hairnet got caught in his handlebar moustache. Ida, what's the butler going to wear?
Oh, gosh, Elsie, I almost forgot the livery. Mama, what about the butler's livery? I said the butler's livery.
What'd she say, Ida?
She's livery too, must have been the bloater.
Oh, I say, Ide, here comes the butler now.
No. Oh.
He's at the gate. He's coming up the garden path, walking along in the sunlight.
All right, don't make a Fitzpatrick travellogue out of it.
Ide, I'm trembling like an aspirin leaf.
So am I. I've gone all pink and peculiar.
Ide, oh.
Stop it, Elsie. For heaven's sake, switch off your engine. You'll wear out your battery. He's at the door, Elsie. Let's go and open it before he sees the chief knocker.
Are you all right, Ide?
Yes, just have to straighten my teeth.
Right.
Now, Elsie, we'll soon know what it's like to have a butler, won't we?
Yes.
Charles Smythe, our new butler.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's see your buttle.
Bottle?
Oh, Elsie, don't be silly. A butler doesn't buttle. I'll show you how to try him out. Butler, would you tell us how you think a butler would address our influential guests in Australia when they arrive at the front door?
I beg your pardon?
I mean, when people arrive to see us, how would you greet them?
Oh. How are you, mate?
Elsie, what's this competition Mama says you're going in for?
Oh, I'm entering the Bachelor Girl competition.
You might be a bachelor, else, but you're no girl.
Miss Bachelor Girl, I'll be.
Yeah.
You'll be jealous when the judge puts the ribbon round me and all the people watching.
It'll be worth watching too, else, getting a ribbon over these hips.
I've got all the papers, Ide. All I have to do is to answer the questions and then put my form in the letterbox.
Don't be silly. You couldn't get your form in a horse box.
Ida, you should see the questions.
Show me.
Look.
Height, birth, weight.
Oh, yes, I mustn't forget to weigh myself tomorrow.
Oh, no, not tomorrow, else. The weighbridge is closed on Wednesday.
Oh, what?
Oh, all right. Look at the time, else. Quick, we must find that certificate.
It's such a romantic hunt.
No,
but here's that bangle that man gave you.
Oh, yes, my only proposal. I sometimes wonder if I did the right thing in not accepting.
Oh, but Ade, you wouldn't have liked living in a grass hut.
No, I suppose I wouldn't.
Oh, look, Ade.
Oh, don't, Elsa. We mustn't waste any more time. Mama's calling.
Yes, but look, this is a group of wee girls at school, all in our school uniforms.
Oh, yes, I can't help looking at that. There's the matron with her whistle.
Yes, and there's the warden with his whip.
Never forget the day we escaped. That was the day, wasn't it? Oh, Elsie, the certificate.
Yeah.
See if there are any papers over there in that box.
Oh, look, one of my lovely old mesh stockings. Now, I wonder where the mate of it's in.
Oh, Elsie, you can't have pea soup and mesh stockings, too.
All right, here's a bundle of papers.
Oh, good.
Here it is, Ide. It's a government form.
Show me. Oh, no, Elsie, that's Dada's pardon.
I've got it, I've got it. Here it is. Look, it says certificate. All my details on it. Waist 49, hips 56.
Show me.
There.
Oh, Elsie. They don't put your waist measurement in your birth certificate.
Birth certificate? I thought you said girth certificate.
Mrs. Hammerstein of Morong writes, I had swollen ankles, was weary and tired. I took menthoids, which helped me feel bright and alive.
If kidney trouble makes you weary and tired, start the menthoid treatment today. Menthoids with diet chart are 6 and 6 and 3 and 6pence everywhere. Remember the name, Dr. Mackenzie's Menthoids. Menthoids.
Is the world over. Yet, they're only 3 and 9 a packet.
Whether you suffer from corns, calluses, bunions, aching feet, sore heels, there's a Dr. Scholl's remedy to bring you blissful relief. Look for Dr. Scholl's foot comfort counter at your chemist or Scholl retailer.
Dr. Mack was a series of self-contained quarter-hour episodes, recounting tales of Dr. Robert McIntyre, a gentle old Scottish medico, practicing in a country town in Australia, known only as Dr. Mack to his patients, friends and his many thousands of warmly devoted radio listeners. The series was created by E. Mason Wood for the Macquarie Network and the keynote was simplicity. In most episodes we find Dr. Mack dealing more in homespun wisdom and philosophy, always laced with compassion, rather than in the clinical practice of medicine. Lou Vernon played Dr. Mack, one of radio's most experienced and best-loved character actors. He came to radio in the mid-1930s after some 30 years in show business.
Aye, it's me, Dr. Mack. Oh, it's the prison. More sickness? Oh, it's you, Colonel. Why, yes, I'll come along, of course. You want to see me particularly? It's no case of illness... No? Then why... Oh, you'd rather wait till I come. Very well. I'll be along as soon as I've finished here. Goodbye, Colonel. Are you there, Etty?
Yes, I'm here, Robert.
I'll be a wee bit late, because after my rounds I'm going over to the jail. The Colonel wants to see me.
Oh, I wonder what it can be about.
Well, he wouldn't say on the phone. Is there anything you want in town while I'm over there?
Yes, dear, but as you'll certainly forget them, I won't bother.
Well, that's most insulting to my memory.
Go on with you, and be back as soon as you can.
Well, Dr. Mack, you've heard most of this man's history. He's been a prisoner under my charge for nearly 8 years now. Tomorrow he goes free. He's the sort that never should have seen a prison.
Well, what do you want me to do?
Confound it, old friend. I don't know. But somehow I came to the conclusion you should see him.
I'm a wee bit mystified, Colonel, but come on, produce the man.
He's in the next room. Will you come?
Aye, lead on. I declare I'm almost twittering with curiosity.
Doc, this is Donald McIntyre.
Donald? Oh, it can't be. Dear heaven, no.
What sort of a trick is this, Governor? How did you know...
Forgive me, both of you, and let me explain.
Aye, I think you'd better. Mercy on us, Donald, my brother. I can't believe it.
I'm that same person, Robert. But do believe me, the scheme of the Colonel's has nothing to do with me.
Will you let me explain? Dr. Mack, this man has interested me since he first came here. He committed fraud once and has now served sentence. He's not a natural crook. I obtained his whole history.
Why couldn't you keep it to yourself?
Because, McIntyre, I was sufficiently interested in you to see you fell into the right hands when you left here. I've had your connections in this country traced. They led me to your brother, my old friend, Dr. Mack.
Don't be a fool, Robert. Forget me and go away. What possible good can it do to you to have the whole world know your brother is a jailbird?
Donald, lad, the point is that I'm the only one in this far land you can turn to for help.
You were always a generous blighter, weren't you?
Shall I leave you, Doc?
Aye, if you will. I'd like a wee word with my brother.
I'll be back in a few minutes.
Well, Bob, there's no need of any pretense between us. So take my advice. Get out now and forget that crazy old fool ever let you know I was inside.
Is that what you'd like, Donald?
Yes. No. Oh, God, Bob, why dangle wine in front of a man parched with thirst? And yet to see you again and hear your voice, the same old Bob. It's great. But run away, Bob. Go now. Don't spoil a good life with my rottenness.
Mercy on us. It's all of 20 years. I've wondered where you've been, Donald. Time was when we were mostly together.
Why the devil don't you curse me?
Why should I? You've paid, and dearly too, I'm thinking. Would you like to tell me about it, Donald, lad?
Well, Bob, it all started these years ago, 25 odd years, when as youngsters we left college. I remember you got your degree. I was trying hard to persuade you. Don't be stodgy, old man. Well, you've a tremendous future in front of you. Practice in the city.
But why should I, Donald?
Because you're the most brilliant MD of your year. Almost in no time, you could be specializing, making a fortune. Robert, you've got everything, appearance and ability. You can become a celebrity.
When I took up medicine, Donald, I didn't take it up for money.
Fool.
You can laugh, but somehow the mania for curing things has got me. The thought of applying my skill for the benefit of others is terrible pleasing. I've looked things over, and I've settled on a little township where I feel I'll be of more service than gallivanting round the skirts of fashion and quality.
That's incredible.
No, not it. It's not in the big cities that the heart of Australia lies. It's way out in the country, where life is hard, where the sun and the elements are ruthless opponents, where men wrestle to make a country great and become great because of their tussling. There lies the heart of this country, And I like to get at the heart of things.
That's not my way, Rabbit. I'm for the city. I'll get among the money, the big noises, and if I can't divert some of that wealth to my own use, win independence, I'll eat my hat.
Well, you've taken a worse mistress than I have, lad. I'm wondering if she'll treat you kindly.
I'll make her. You're set on the country, Rabbit. I can't make you change your mind.
No.
Then it's different roads at last. I'm sorry, old chap.
Oh, these roads will meet times, Donald. When your country relation comes to see you in your great mansion in the city.
And the great mansion in the city is one of His Majesty's prisons.
If only I'd have known about this.
Oh, wait, let me tell you. Things went well for some years, and then I found the pace too slow. I wanted more, much more, and quicker. Well, I tried the shortcut. I embezzled my client's funds, and here I am, after 8 years, setting out to start all over again. If it's not too late.
Of course it's not too late. This time, Donald, maybe you'll keep in touch with me, eh?
Oh, don't be an idiot. Of course I can't. Haven't you realized yet that if it's known you have a brother, an ex-convict, you'll be socially ostracized?
Losh, man. I dinna move in great society.
Oh, don't hedge. You'll be ostracized. Your practice'll wither away. And think of your wife, too.
Aye. I'm thinking of her, the dear lass. And thinking of her makes me insist that for the time being, you come with me.
Why?
Because she'd scorn me if I did otherwise, and, oh, well, if you'd ever been scorned like my wife Etty can scorn, you'd understand. Donald, lad, you only want a helping hand. You'll come good again, I know.
I will, too, Bob. Even if it's only for your sake.
Well, Dr. Mack, did I do right?
Aye, Colonel, you did. You've given me back my brother, the missing half of me. You see, we're twins. It's a tie, Colonel, that you'll maybe no understand to the fool. No, I shouldn't call it a tie. A tie is a shackle, something onerous. The fact of being a twin is a bond, but a greatly prized bond. It's part of one. And if one of us suffers, the other suffers.
Robert, don't.
You see, I loved my brother in the years gone by. I see no reason not to feel the same way about him now.
Keep the shining beauty of your hair with Barry's Trichopherus, famous hair tonic. Fingertip massage with a few drops of Barry's Trichopherus nourishes and stimulates, ensuring lustrous, healthy hair. And regular daily treatment helps to prevent dandruff, premature grayness, falling hair and brittle dryness. Barry's Trichopherus, the best care for your hair.
A little bear, a little bear, a little bear will fix it.
Do the job better with Bear Tape. Always keep a roll handy. Decorate gifts with Bear Christmas tapes.
The Ada and Elsie sketches began on the Colgate-Palmolive unit production of Calling the Stars, featuring such performers as Roy Renee and Willie Feenel. This was followed by appearances on the Kashmir Bouquet Show, and by 1946 they had become permanent and regular members of the cast. The comedy duo then became the stars of the Cadbury Show, which ran on the Macquarie Network until 1956. The unintelligent Ada was played by actress and coloratura soprano, Rita Ponsfort. Bachelor girl, Elsie was played by writer, producer and actress, Dorothy Foster. The premise of the performance was that of two old-fashioned spinsters who lived with their elderly mother and traded backhanded insults about each other's physical attributes and ability to attract male attention. Rita Ponsfort also played the part of Mrs. Bottomley, the neighbor, in the Mrs. Obbs radio program.
I am now happy to present two very old talkies. Yes, it's our two old-fashioned girls, Ada and Elsie.
Is there any mile-eyed?
Is there? Else this is the great day in our social register. A letter's arrived from our butler.
Our butler?
Yes.
Oh, read it quickly, Ada. My inside's going round like a clock.
Well, calm down before it begins to chime.
Ada, don't keep me in suspense. Read the letter.
All right. Dear Miss Smith, I wish to notify you that I will take up my duties as your butler on Wednesday next. Yours respectfully, C. Smythe, RAF.
Oh, I say, Smythe. One of those hookup names.
Yes.
Oh, RAF, Royal Air Force. He'll bring a real bit of old England.
We should bring a real bit of old Scotch. Oh, what am I saying? And me a strict DDT.
That'll do, Ada. You know you go mad with a drink.
I'll go madder without it, Elsie.
Oh, this butler will cost us a bit of money, Ada.
Oh, well, Mum will have to start scraping.
Yes, and Dad will have to stop scrapping. The butler's initials are C. Yes. I wonder what it stands for,
Oh, it's bound to be Charles, Elsie. Sounds so butlerish. Can't you just picture us, Elsie, saying, Charles, bring us our fan mail?
Ah, yes, Ada, and him walking in with a silver saliva. Ada, do we have to tip him for his trouble?
We'll have to wait first, Elsie, to see what his trouble is.
Ida, what if he should fall in love with me?
Oh, God. He might be a waiter, but he's not a dumb waiter.
Oh, Ida, but think of the news scoop. Famous radio star marries a butler.
Star? You mean Comet?
Don't be silly, Ada. A comet's got a tail.
You heard me, Elsie. Very idea marrying your butler.
Oh, I've got to marry somebody. I'm 26 already.
You might be already, but you can't marry your butler. Oh, with the name of Smith, too.
It's not Smith, it's Smythe.
Oh, pardon. The butler, indeed. I never heard such nonsense.
It'd be the greatest romance since Lord Nelson and Lady Godiva.
Well, forget the romance for a minute and let's get on to his duties.
All right,
now, hurry
up. What if we got him a coachman's uniform and let him drive us round in that little cart like we did when we were kids?
Oh, no, Elsie. Mama's too old to go in the shafts now.
Perhaps he could act as a chauffeur,
Oh, don't be silly. You can't ask an English butler to pump up bike tyres.
Oh, I say. But, can't you just picture him, a tall, straight Englishman?
Yes, like a stick of rhubarb dipped in thin starch.
I hope he's tall like Chips Rafferty with a lisp like Charles Boyer.
Oh, no, Elsie, we don't want a lanky bloke with two accents. Remember that RAF pilot I did a line with, Elsie? You know, the one with the curl you mow?
Oh, and how you used to fight every time your hairnet got caught in his handlebar moustache. Ida, what's the butler going to wear?
Oh, gosh, Elsie, I almost forgot the livery. Mama, what about the butler's livery? I said the butler's livery.
What'd she say, Ida?
She's livery too. Must have been the bloater.
Oh, I say, Ida, here comes the butler now.
No. Oh.
He's at the gate. He's coming up the garden path, walking along in the sunlight.
All right, don't make a Fitzpatrick travelogue out of it.
Ida, I'm trembling like an aspirin leaf.
So am I. I've gone all pink and peculiar.
Ida,
Stop it, Elsie. For heaven's sake, switch off your engine. You'll wear out your battery. He's at the door, Elsie. Let's go and open it before he sees the chief knocker.
Are you all right, Ida?
Yes, just have to straighten my teeth. Right. No, else we'll soon know what it's like to have a butler, won't we?
Yes.
Charles Smythe, our new butler?
Mm-hmm. Well, let's see your buttle.
Buttle?
Oh, Elsie, don't be silly. A butler doesn't buttle. I'll show you how to try him out. Butler, would you tell us how you think a butler would address our influential guests in Australia when they arrive at the front door?
I beg your pardon?
I mean, when people arrive to see us, how would you greet them?
Oh. How are you, mate?
Elsie, what's this competition Mama says you're going in for?
Oh, I'm entering the Bachelor Girl competition.
You might be a bachelor, else, but you're no girl.
Miss Bachelor Girl, I'll be.
Yeah.
You'll be jealous when the judge puts the ribbon round me and all the people watching.
It'll be worth watching too, else getting a ribbon over these hips.
I got all the papers, Ide. All I have to do is to answer the questions and then put my form in the letterbox.
Don't be silly. You couldn't get your form in a horse box.
Ida, you should see the questions.
Show me.
Look.
Height, birth, weight.
Oh, yes, I mustn't forget to weigh myself tomorrow.
Oh, no, not tomorrow, else. The weighbridge is closed on Wednesday.
Oh, what?
Oh, all right. Look at the time, else. We must find that certificate.
Oh, it's such a romantic hunt.
No,
Oh,
but
here's that bangle that man gave you.
Oh, yes, my only proposal. I sometimes wonder if I did the right thing in not accepting.
Oh, but Aid, you wouldn't have liked living in a grass hut.
No, I suppose I wouldn't.
Oh, look, Aid.
Oh, don't, Elsie. We mustn't waste any more time. Mama's calling.
Yes, but look, this is a group of wee girls at school, all in our school uniforms.
Oh, yes, I can't help looking at that. There's the matron with her whistle.
Yes, and there's the warden with his whip.
Never forget the day we escaped. That was the day, wasn't it? Oh, Elsie, the certificate.
Yeah.
See if there are any papers over there in that box.
Oh, look, one of my
Tom?
lovely old mesh stockings. Now, I wonder where the mate of it is.
Oh, Elsie, you can't have pea soup and mesh stockings, too.
All right, here's a bundle of
Oh,
papers.
good.
Here it is, Ide. It's a government form.
Show me.
There you
Oh, no, Elsie, that's Dad's pardon.
I've got it, Ide. I've got it.
Oh,
Here it is. Look, it says certificate. All
Yes.
my details on it. Waist 49, hips 56.
Show me.
There.
Oh, Elsie. They don't put your waist measurement in your birth certificate.
Birth certificate? I thought you said girth certificate.
From the top of the top to the bottom of the bottle, everyone's enjoying Connie's soft drinks.
They're sparkling.
They're refreshing.
They're good.
Man-sized job, man-sized thirst. Treat yourself and your thirst to the deep-down ice-cold satisfaction of Cotty's Sparkling Tango.
Every day is a Connie's kind of day.
With your Argus on Saturday, you'll find a colour Argus Coronation souvenir. The second of a series proudly presented by the Argus to tell the story of the woman behind the glitter. A story that will help you understand the deeper meaning of the throne and will strengthen your affection for its glorious occupant. You'll want to read it again and again, so order your Argus for Saturday with its Coronation souvenir.
Yes, What is an Australian radio comedy first broadcast in 1936, and is one of the best-known examples of Australian radio drama. Originally called The Fourth Form at St. Percy's, it was a comedy set in a school classroom. Rex Daw, a young Adelaide broadcaster, decided to write the program. 5AD program manager Maury Chapman granted a 50 shillings budget for the show as well as an additional 10 shillings for the writer-producer. The program ran for 520 episodes.
Hi, stand for our thing. Oh, St. Percy about you? Yeah, quiet.
Now, well, good morning, boys.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, boys. Now, Stanford.
Yes, sir?
What do you understand by a relative pronoun?
Oh, fair go.
Botany.
Yeah?
Was I talking to you?
No, but, strike.
Well, what's the matter?
Nothing, honey. We haven't sort of said anything yet.
No, I know you haven't sort of said anything. And you're not going to sort of say anything either. I've made up my mind to start the lesson immediately. Yes, how? So how do you like that?
Well, I thought we might just talk about the weather or something for a while.
Talk about the weather?
Yeah.
Oh, did you? Well, we won't. Well, go on, Stanford. What do you understand by a relative pronoun?
Nothing, sir.
Nothing.
No, sir. Well, it looks like we will talk about the weather.
Yes, I'm afraid it does.
It's been cold, hasn't it?
Yes, quite chilly.
We'll probably get some rain out of this.
Do you think? What do you...
Oh!
Serves you right, Botany. You're just up to your old tricks again. Just trying to waste our time by putting me off the track. Well, I won't stand for it. Do you know the answer to the question?
What question?
Hasn't it been cold?
Yeah, all say.
No, I didn't mean that. What is a relative pronoun?
Oh.
Well, go on. Don't just say "oh."
But you asked Stanford that.
Did I? Yes, all right. I know that.
Oh.
Well, go on.
Go on, Stanford.
Don't you, Stanford.
Why, sir?
Well, I want to answer this question. No, I mean, look, never mind why. Botany.
Yeah?
Are you going to answer that question or aren't you? I know I asked Stanford and he didn't know. So now I'm asking you.
Oh.
Yes, oh. Listen, what's this all business? Oh, what?
Oh, well, I don't know either.
Oh. No, there. And you got that for just wasting our time, my boy. You don't know anything and you don't want to know anything as far as I can see. Listen, can you give me an illustration of a relative pronoun?
I?
Well, go on. Tell me one relative pronoun. Well, can you?
No.
Ah. And what about you, Stanford? Can you tell me one relative pronoun?
No, sir, I can't.
No, I didn't think you could. Well, that's disgusting. There are several relative pronouns. You should have known all of them. But you can't tell me one.
No, sir.
Well, it's terrible. I don't know what I'm going to do with you boys. You're absolutely... Oh, here's the boy that can tell me one. Greenbottle.
Yes.
He knows everything.
Yes.
Yes, what?
Yes, which one would you like?
Anyone.
Yes, well,
Right. Now,
once upon a time, there was a big giant
Now,
who
this-
lived at the top of a beanstalk.
Greenbottle!
Yes.
Haven't you got any brains at all?
Yes.
Well, you don't appear to have. You don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, I do.
Oh, do you?
Yes. The giant used to say, 3, 4, 5, 4.
What?
I smell the blood of an Englishman.
What? Look, keep that silly tongue of yours still. We're not talking about fairy stories. We happen to be discussing relative pronouns.
Yes, I know.
Yeah. I distinctly asked you to tell me one relative pronoun.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
you did not. You big storyteller.
Greenbuckle, don't you speak to me like that. You're not out in the yard now. And I don't want to argue with you, but I did.
No, you never.
Huh?
He was outside.
Yeah. Was he?
Yeah.
Yes, well, look, you'll be outside, too, if you're not very careful.
Shall I go now?
Yes, just clear. No, look, come back here, Bob. Come back here.
All right.
Look, just sit down there and keep quiet. And, well, anyhow, Greenbuckle, you should have known that we wouldn't be talking about fairy stories.
Yes, but Strike, I'm only human.
Yes. Oh, are you? Well, I've got my doubts about that. But still.
Yes, but I can't hear you through a wall, you know.
No, I don't suppose you can.
No, you're thinking of me auntie.
Yes, well, your auntie? Oh, am I? Well, I'm not.
She's physics.
Yes, all right. Well, she's what?
She's physics.
Physics?
Yes.
She's psychic, not physics. Psychic.
Yes.
Yes, what?
Yes, she's physics.
Oh, skip it. Listen.
Yes, she could hear what you said if she was outside, even if she wasn't listening.
Could she?
Yes, of course she could.
Oh, I see.
She communes with the spirits.
What, in a bottle?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Well, listen, Greenbuckle, I'm not a bit interested in this.
Yes, well, she can talk to me grandfather.
Oh, can she? Well, look, so can you, as far as I'm concerned.
No, I can't.
No. Huh? Why not?
Well, he's been dead for 25 years.
Oh, has he?
Yes.
And you mean to say that your auntie still talks to him?
Yes.
Oh, I see. Oh. And does your grandfather ever answer her? Now listen, that's something that I would be interested to hear.
Yes.
Well, does your grandfather speak to her?
Yes, well, she says the grandpa's been trying to get the message through for some time.
Oh, has he?
Yes.
Oh, I
but
see.
she says the noise of the shoveling keeps drowning out his voice.
The noise of the shoveling, yeah. What?
Yes, well, that's what she says.
Oh, does she? Well, look, I don't want to hear about it. But look what's happened. I come along this morning determined to start the lesson immediately, and what happens? As soon as you get here, Greenbottle, we start talking about your auntie.
Yes.
Yes, what?
Yes, she's physics.
Oh, what's the use?
Yes, she can see through a brick wall, even if it's not there.
Yes, Now will you keep quiet? I wonder how many times I've had to tell you to stop talking about members of your family. It must be hundreds.
Thousands.
Millions? Well, twice, anyhow. No, And I've had to tell you millions of times to mind your own business. But apparently you take no notice. Now, are we going to do this lesson now or after school?
Now, sir.
All right, chatterbox. Nobody asked you to start making speeches.
No, sir.
Right. Now, where were we? Oh, a pronoun. Now, a relative pronoun. Well, have you thought of one yet, Bottomley?
Oh, me?
Yes.
And
I don't mean the one about the commercial traveller either.
I don't think I've heard that.
Haven't you?
No.
Oh, well, he arrived in the town one night, you see. Now, listen. I'm not here to tell you stories. What is a relative pronoun?
Strike. Oh, I told you that.
Did you?
Yeah.
I don't remember. What did you tell me?
I told you I don't know.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, neither does Stanford.
Oh.
Yes, sir.
Oh, you do?
Yes, I don't.
No, and neither does Greenbottle, I suppose.
Yes, I do.
Well, go on, surprise me. What is a relative pronoun?
It's a family pronoun.
Family pronoun?
Yes, such as uncle, auntie, cousin, brother, old man, son, brother, sister,
just a minute.
butcher, baker,
Listen, just a minute. What on earth are you talking about, Greenbottle?
relative pronoun.
Relative rubbish? just because they're your relatives, it doesn't mean that they're relative pronouns, you numbskull.
Yes, well, I thought it did.
Oh, did you? Well, you were wrong. And at all events, there's no reason why you should include, what did you say, grocer, butcher, baker, milkman. There's no rhyme or reason in that at all.
Yes, well, I've got a cousin who's a grocer.
What?
My cousin's a grocer.
Look, can't you think of anything else but your relatives? As far as I can see, you've got uncles and aunties and cousins in every trade, calling, profession and business that's ever been known. And a few more that have never even been heard of.
Yes, well, I've got a cousin a grocer.
Oh, have you? Well, that's very, very nice.
Not for his customers, it's not.
No, I know, but... Botany.
Yeah?
Haven't I told you to keep your nose out of things that don't concern you?
But that concerns me.
Does it?
Yeah, he's our grocer.
What, Greenbottle's cousin?
Yes, of course he is.
Your grocer?
Yeah, worse luck.
Yeah,
He's a boxer.
A boxer?
Yeah.
What, a box of matches?
Yeah.
Well,
No, a fighter.
Fighter?
Yes, oh, he is, no.
Just a minute. Look, what are you talking about, Botany? Greenbottle says his cousin is a grocer, and you say he's a fighter,
Yeah.
a boxer.
Yeah, well, it's the same thing.
Same thing?
Yeah, he's a lightweight champion.
Lightweight champion?
Yeah, you buy a pound of sugar and you're extra lucky if you get 9 ounces.
Ah.
Oh, you big storyteller, Bottom.
Well, listen.
That's right.
No, it is
Look,
not.
keep quiet. It doesn't matter whether it's right or not.
Yes, it does.
Ah.
Bottomley shouldn't be allowed to say that.
Oh, shouldn't he?
No.
Well, look, I'm the one to allow things in this classroom, not you, Greenbottle.
Yes, but what he said wasn't true.
Well, that may be so. But at
No,
the same...
if you buy a pound of sugar in me cousin's shop, you get 12 ounces the same as anybody else.
Yes, well, if that's probably all very well. But you get what? 12 ounces?
Yeah.
Ah, well, that sort of proves Bottomley's case. Because there happen to be 16 ounces in a pound.
Yes.
See? There are 16 ounces in a pound, not 12.
No, you're thinking of Avada Pie.
Avada Pie? What did you say? Avada what?
Avada roll.
Yes, and you can have it a bath. I'm sick of you. Yeah, serves you right. Yes, I know it. Well, you started all that silly business.
No, I never.
You said Greenbottle's cousin was the lightweight champion or something.
Yeah, well, so are you.
All right, well, I don't want to hear about it.
Yes, but my cousin is considered one of the best grocers.
Greenbottle!
Yes?
Do you want to be shot?
Yes. No.
Now, well, keep quiet. We started out to talk about relative pronouns. And for some unknown reason, you start talking about your cousin, the grocer.
Yes, well, it's an example.
And I say he isn't. You've got no idea of it. Relatives like nephews, uncles, nieces, cousins have got nothing to do with relative pronouns.
No, sir.
No. See, Greenbottle? Even Stanford knows that much.
Yes, but he's always wrong.
Oh, is he? And of course you never are. You're always right.
Yes.
That's what you think.
Yes.
Well, this time Stanford just puts you to shame.
Yes, sir.
Listen, Stanford, we'll just show Greenbottle how ridiculous he is.
Yes, sir.
Now listen, Stanford, would you call your nephew, say, a relative pronoun?
No, sir.
No, of course you wouldn't.
I haven't got a nephew, sir.
No, he hasn't even got a nephew, so why would he go... What? No, listen. That's got nothing to do with it. That's not the point.
Why, sir?
Well, never mind why. We're just showing Greenbottle how silly he is.
Oh, yes, sir.
Right, listen. Have you got a cousin, Stanford?
Cousin? Yes, sir.
Right, well, what would you call him?
Harry.
Harry? Why?
Because that's his name.
Is it?
Yeah.
No, look, I don't mean that. I mean, what would you call him? Or at least, is he a relative pronoun?
Oh, no, sir.
No, exactly.
He's a cornet player.
A cornet player? Oh, yes, well, so he couldn't... No, listen, that might teach you to use your brains a bit, Stanford. I don't know whether you're naturally dull or just pulling my leg. But a stick will do you good in either case.
Yeah.
Yes, look, and this has got nothing to do with you, so keep quiet.
Yes, well, he couldn't prove I was silly.
No, he didn't have to. We all knew that. I didn't really want him to prove that you were silly.
Yeah.
Yes, what?
Yes, but you're just wasting our time.
Exactly. Now, listen, I don't know what you think who you think you're speaking to, Greenbottle, but I won't stand for it. Anybody would think you boys just come to school to be rude instead of learning things. And what have we learned today? Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Well, I never knew Stanford's cousin was a cornet player before.
Didn't you?
No. That's something I've learned.
Oh, well, what? Listen, I'm not talking about that. I learned that myself. And I also learnt that Greenbottle's cousin was a grocer.
Yes, and me auntie's physic.
Yes, that's something else, that Greenbottle's auntie is physic.
And that I haven't got a nephew.
Yeah, and that Stanford hasn't got a nephew.
Yes.
Yes, what?
Yes, well, you've learned enough for one day.
You think?
Yeah, all right.
Yes. Oh, well, good morning, boys.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, boys.
You can't beat a sale. You can't beat a sale. You can't beat a sale for a snack. Sale brings out the flavor of any food you favor. You can't beat a sale for a snack, 'cause it's crisp and light with a size just right to take any topping you like. So reach for a pack, a line of sale biscuits. No, you can't beat a sale for a snack.
Here's the news asthma victims have been waiting for. You can now get wonderful relief from asthma almost at once. Simply take Bethel tablets. Bethel tablets soothe the irritated nerve ends, banish congestion, and stop you wheezing inside 3 minutes. Ask your chemist for Bethel tablets for asthma right away.
We hope you enjoy the last program in this podcast. It is the General Motors Hour, which featured radio adaptations of film and stage plays featuring both American and Australian stars. It was broadcast in 1952 onwards on Wednesdays on 2GB and other Macquarie Network stations at 8 p.m. The theme for the radio program was While I Live, the title tune from the 1947 film of the same name. Written by Charles Williams and recorded by Charles Williams and his concert orchestra.
The General Motors Hour. General Motors Holdens, through the Macquarie Network and cooperating stations in all states, present Be Your Age, starring Maddie Head. This is John Deese introducing our play. Tonight we go to comedy and a middle-class home in the state of Ohio, where a normally peaceful family finds itself disrupted by the unexpected engagement of one of Archibald K. Holly's daughters. It's not the fact that she's become engaged, it's who she's got herself engaged to that sends the family into uproar and Mr. Holly nearly to apoplexy. In this piece of finely constructed comedy, we star Maddie Head as Gwendolen, the girl who causes the trouble, with Derek Barnes, Leonard Bullen, Fifi Banvard, John Hewitt, Jan Coughlin, and Reginald Collins. The play will be produced by Harry Harper. Ladies and gentlemen, Act 1 of the General Motors Hour production of Be Your Age.
Lois,
Come into the living room, Bob.
Huh?
Oh, Bob, I've got something awful to tell you.
Oh, who's dead?
Nobody. Why?
Did you or did you not telephone my mother saying you wanted to see me on a matter of life or death?
Oh, now, don't kid. This is awfully serious.
Listen, Lois, my mother's got a magnificent lunch cooling off.
Bob, are you determined to get married?
Did you get me over here to ask a fool question like that?
It's not foolish. Wouldn't you prefer to stay a bachelor?
Your sister Gwen might have something to say about that. We're sort of committed.
I'm afraid you're under a slight misapprehension.
Huh? Well, how come?
Gwen is committed, but not to you.
You mean she's run off from college and got married?
No, not married, just engaged.
Just engaged? Who to?
Some clerk named Elliot Spurgeon. She's driving home from Columbus with him this morning. She wired.
Probably some hefty athlete who swept her off her feet at a fraternity dance.
It's a scandal to treat you like this when you've been going together for so long, brushing you off like last year's snakeskin.
Well, I'm not going to take this as final. No college jerk is going to cut into my girl.
It may not be easy if Gwendolyn's made up her mind. You know how obstinate she is.
So am I. Think that's her? I don't want to meet her until I've thought out what to say.
If she wouldn't ring the bell, she'd walk straight in. Anyway, I left the door open. Who is it?
Can I come in?
That's young Erickson, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Hi, Moonglow.
Oh, it's you. You do pick the most stinking moments to drop in, Crabapple.
Oh, hello, Bob.
Hello, Potter.
Yeah, you look lower than my algebra marks.
Has Lois's old man fired you? Not her old man. Her sister.
For some college kid she's going to marry.
Well, what do you know? Heh, you ought to beat his brains out. I'll be glad to help. Thanks, Potter. Your muscles might come in handy. Well, I suppose I must try and eat. I'll be back after lunch and see if they've come.
So long, Robert. And remember, I'm on your side.
Thanks. And thanks for tipping me off.
And now you can go, too. Be a good boy and go home.
You're always trying to kick me out of this joint.
Merely because my father doesn't like you. You annoy him, and he'll be home for lunch any minute.
What's he got against me?
It isn't you personally, Crabapple. It's your father and your silly newspaper. As far as Daddy's concerned, we're not Erickson and Holly. We're Montague and Capulet.
Lois, you ought to be upstairs cleaning up for lunch. Look at the time.
Good morning, Miss Rundle.
Good morning, Potter.
Well, I'll be by for you on Thursday, Moonglow, to pick you up for the party. 8:30?
If nothing better is turned up, I might go with you.
Girls drive me bats. The only place where I'm happy is at the country club or the men's locker room.
I really do think, Lois, that you treat Potter shamefully.
I do it deliberately. Potter is the leech in my life.
Someday you'll go too far and lose him. Oh, dear, I do wish that your mother'd lived. It's mornings like this make me feel that a maiden aunt shouldn't attempt to bring up children.
All girls.
Hi, Father.
Oh, what a morning. Nothing but obstacles, disappointments, and snags. And you realize I'm faced with a strike at the plant. And on top of everything, you telephone me about this telegram from Gwendolyn. Ah, damn it. How could a daughter of mine do such a thing? Why, Bob's practically a part of the family. I built him to take over the business for me. Well, how could she jilt him in this casual way?
Now, Archie, pull yourself together. They'll be here any minute. You don't want to meet Gwen's fiancé with a face like a lobster.
I don't want to meet him at all. You know, I've been going crazy all the morning trying to remember where I've heard that name, Elliot Spurgeon, before. I think I placed it. Lois, see if you can reach down my old college yearbook from off the top shelf.
Right.
You know, I think I might have gone to Ohio State with this boy's father.
No.
Yeah, he'd have a son about Gwen's age.
Your father?
Now, let me see. Ah, here we are. Class of 1930. Ah, here he is. I knew it. Old Fish Face.
Fish Face?
Spurgeon. Sturgeon.
Well, I don't think that's funny.
No, probably isn't, but we thought it was hilarious in those days. Let me see now. Herbert Elliot Spurgeon, born 1910, Canton, Ohio. Yeah, he's 49. 1 year older than I am.
Were you very good friends?
Well, yes and no. We were fraternity brothers, you know. Sweet violets, sweeter than the roses. But, we didn't have a great deal in common.
We can't jump to the conclusion that this boy of Gwen's is his son.
No, but it's a coincidence. You know, old Fish Face was quite a character in his way. Girls were crazy about him. Which reminds me of something. Lois, hadn't you better get ready for lunch? They might walk in at any minute.
You've just thought of something you don't want me to hear.
You're so sharp, you'll cut yourself one day, young lady. Now, go on.
Just when the conversation was getting really interesting.
Grace, you know, I'm not so sure I'll be too happy if this boy does turn out to be old Spurgeon's son.
Why, Archie?
Well, if my memory isn't cockeyed, Herbert got involved with a girl during his last term that I wouldn't care to have for my daughter's mother-in-law.
Was she common?
Well, she was expelled from school for stealing.
Oh, dear. Are you sure he married her?
Well, I remember getting a wedding invitation while your sister and I were on our honeymoon.
Oh, well, it's no good worrying ourselves with a lot of idle speculation. You worry too much, Archie.
Grace, Gwen's behavior suddenly made me realize what a fizzle I've been as a father. There's Vicky away in New York trying to be an actress. Lois running around with that damn Erickson boy, and now Gwen.
Don't be silly, Archie. You can't be held responsible because your daughter's changed her mind about the boy you wanted her to marry. Well, that can happen in any family.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Archie, dear, this lunch anticipates a wedding, not a funeral. Why don't you go down to the bar and mix some drinks?
You know, that's the first sensible suggestion I've heard today. Yes, it'll give me something palatable to think about. Now, if that's for me, say I'm down in the bar, dead drunk.
Hello? Yes, Mr. Erickson? Well, he's down in the bar No, I mean he's at the Rotary Club having lunch. Oh, that's quite all right. Goodbye.
I'm here. Anybody home?
Gwen.
Hello, Aunt Grace.
Hey, did I hear the doorbell? Hiya, Gwen.
Hi, kid. Gee, you've grown tall.
Too tall for your old clothes at last.
Where's Daddy?
Down in the bar getting some drinks. How's the boyfriend? This I gotta see.
Well, we took his car down to Fergus's garage for a grease. She'll be over any minute.
Are you really engaged, Gwen?
Well, look.
Oh, Gwen, darling. Oh, it's a lovely ring.
What a lump of zircon.
I'm mad about it. I think it's the most beautiful diamond I ever saw.
Looks a very expensive stone.
It was Elliot's mother's.
Oh, was it?
He gave me this clip of hers, too.
Oh.
And when we're married, I'm going to get her diamond bracelets. Elliot said she was always picking up jewelry.
What a profitable hobby.
Come in. The door's open.
Is this the residence of...
Fish face!
Baldy! Sweet violets, sweeter than the roses.
Why, you old snake in the grass, this is a surprise.
I thought Gwen wired you.
She didn't say you were coming, but I'm delighted. Now I'll have an excuse to get really plastered.
I'd have known you anywhere, Archie, though you have matured.
Oh, you look as chipper as ever. Yeah, marvelous for your age. Have a drink, a Holly special.
Oh, thanks.
Boy, oh boy. You know, you bring back the old days. Remember that warm October night when you and that redhead went swimming in the Row in the Scioto?
All I remember is that you were so envious you stole my clothes.
Yeah. Swimming in the Row with girls, that was a favorite caper of yours, wasn't it? Oh, you certainly wear hot stuff. You know, I used to envy your love 'em and leave 'em technique.
I've learned wisdom since then.
What? With your good looks and figure? Oh, boy, you can't kid me. No, sir. Your sort never changes. Oh, incidentally, I believe your wife died about 10 years ago.
My wife? What are you talking about?
Well, didn't you marry that girl who got expelled?
Oh, no.
You didn't? But you sent me an invitation to the wedding.
She had a guilt complex. She couldn't face it. The poor girl was a victim of society. That's what made me throw myself into female psychology.
Oh, is that your line?
Yes, I write books and lecture.
And who did you finally marry?
I didn't.
What?
No, I never married. I wanted to wait until I met the right girl.
But this boy of yours.
What boy?
Well, the one that Gwen wired about. The one she met at college.
I'm the boy she met at college, Archie.
What? But she said Elliot Spurgeon. You're Herbert Elliot Spurgeon.
I dropped the Herbert. Elliot looks more imposing on a book cover.
Well, I'm stunned. Just stunned.
Oh, there you are, Elliot. I thought I heard your voice. Hello, Daddy, darling. Oh, it's wonderful to see you. Have you and Daddy got reacquainted, Elliot? Is he surprised?
He says he's stunned.
Stunned, staggered, and speechless. I assumed it was some boy of your own age you went to college. Not a middle-aged man 1 year older than I am.
Age is a matter of how you feel. Elliot says he's just as gay today as he was at 20.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of.
Can I come in?
Hello, Robert. Come in.
Hello, Gwen.
Hello, Robert. You look swell.
I don't feel swell. I'm good and mad. Where's this college drip you got yourself engaged to? I have that honor. What? Oh, excuse me, sir. I'm Elliot Spurgeon. I lecture at Ohio State occasionally. I presume you're the boy next door. I never believed he existed except in women's magazines. Gwen's told me how you've always been like brother and sister together. That's the first time I ever heard I was like a brother.
Robert!
Holy smoke, Gwen, you can't marry this guy. He's old enough to be your father.
Robert! Daddy, would you take Elliot into lunch? I want a word with Robert.
All right, we'll go. But the only sort of lunch I want is a liquid one.
Drinking puts years on your life, Archie.
Robert, I'm perfectly furious with you.
I'm too much of a gentleman to tell you what I think of you.
You... There are no words to describe you. Look out where you're going, Lois.
Sorry. Bob, have you seen him? What's he like?
He's a smooth-tongued chaser as old as your father.
And still going to school? He must be moronic.
He teaches.
Well, what are you going to do?
You tell me. If he was my own age, I'd beat the daylights out of him. I daren't even push this old bird. He might fall to pieces.
Yeah. This is a situation for making with the mind.
Don't worry. I'll think up something. I'm not going to lose my girl to any crummy man of distinction.
Oh, Archie, your coffee's cold. You haven't touched it. And you hardly ate any dinner.
Grace, what the heck is narcissistic identification?
What are you reading?
One of Eliot's masterpieces. I've looked up 6 words in the last paragraph, and none of them are even in the dictionary.
Well, you'd better ask Eliot what it means.
But damn it, I can't ask my future son-in-law to explain the facts of life. He's supposed to ask me. I'm not in.
Hello? Am I disturbing anybody?
I'm in. Hello, Robert.
Gwen's not home, Robert. The professor took her and Lois to the McKinley Hotel for dinner.
I'm glad Lois is with him.
Well, she seems to be Gwen's shadow these last 2 days. Have you put her up to tagging along on their date?
Could be. I can't chaperone them all the time.
Smart idea. The less that pirate's alone with my daughter, the better I like it.
You two know nothing about women. The more you try to keep Gwen away from Eliot alone, the more she'll rush into his arms.
Yeah. Miss Rendell may have something there. Say, Mr. Holly, I'm going nuts. Do you think Gwen really intends to take the plunge with this ancient mariner?
Lord knows, I'm worried to a frazzle, too.
It can only be a passing infatuation.
But will it pass before they're married?
If I lose her to this guy, I'll never talk to another girl as long as I live. I'll go where there aren't any women.
Is there such a place?
Well, I've been offered a construction job down in the Amazon Valley. Of course, I turned it down, but I may reconsider.
Now, look. Have you talked this out with Gwen? Told her how you feel?
No, but I intend to.
Well, when you do, I suggest a change of tactics. Subtlety. That's what the situation demands. Subtlety.
I'm afraid I'm not very strong in that commodity.
Exactly. Eliot handles her with kid gloves. You use brass knuckles. Now, tax what you want, my boy. Tact and subtlety.
Yeah. Subtlety.
Now get this, Erickson. There's no sign of a strike. No. The night shift is working just as usual. There's not a man in the plant who wants to strike. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Hey, you're quite unwelcome. Nosy newspaper man.
Are you sure everything is going to be all right, Daddy?
Of course I'm not sure. You know, in the old days, there used to be some fun in running a business. These days, all the fun's gone out of it. I say, I thought your fiancé was going to bring us up a drink.
Oh, he'll be here in a minute. Daddy, you haven't had much chance to talk to Eliot these last few days, so I'm going to leave you two alone for a while.
Here we are, Archie. I think you'll like these.
Darling, I just told Daddy I'm going to leave you two alone for a little chat. You should have a lot in common being so near in age.
Well, age is not what you hope to have in common with a son-in-law. And there's no point in our having a little chat. I can't stop this marriage. You're 21, Gwendolyn. And you can do as you please. But I shall go on record right now saying that I don't approve of it. This is one engagement I should be delighted to see broken. And when I give you away, my dear, it will be with a sinking heart. Furthermore, you can't cook.
Oh, Eliot, darling, what's the matter with him? Why does he feel like that?
Don't upset yourself, my sweet. He'll come round. Once we're married, he'll accept it.
If he only realized all the trouble I went to get you, he'd understand. My goodness, how I had to chase you, darling. We haven't been alone together since we've been home. Look, let's take your car and drive out to the lake. We could go for a moonlight swim. And then we can light a fire in our summer cottage there. Now, who's this?
Take a look out of the window.
I will. Oh, darn, it's Bob. Come to sit out another date with us. I'm not going to let him spoil the night.
I think I must give you an evening to explain to this young man that I've taken you away from him.
Yes, I suppose I'll have to have it out with him. I'd better let him in.
Hello, Gwen.
Hello, Robert. What a shame. We're just going out.
Oh. Evening, Professor.
Evening, Robert.
Yes, we're just going for a swim in Turkeyfoot Lake.
I don't mind driving you out there.
I'm sorry, Robert, but you forced me to be rude. We want to go by ourselves. I'll grab us a couple of towels, Elliot. Be right down.
Well, Robert, I suppose you're still sore at me.
I'm not licking any wounds. I haven't given up yet.
If you're counting on Gwen changing her mind, you're clinging to a pretty feeble straw.
You're very sure of her, aren't you?
No, I'm not at all sure. That's where you made your mistake. You were. Women don't like that. They like to fill their unpredictable, erratic creatures of sudden moods.
You've sure got a line, Professor. With women, I mean. I guess that's the result of years of experience.
I'm ready, darling. Come on, let's go.
By all means.
Just 1/2 minute, Gwen. I want to ask you a question.
I'll drive round front.
I won't keep you waiting, Elliot.
I'll blow the horn. Good night, Robert.
Well, what's the question, Bob?
I want to talk to you alone. I suppose your fiancé will object violently, but you think you could arrange it?
Don't judge everybody by yourself, Robert. If you want to know, he suggested only a few minutes ago that you and I talk things over.
He did?
Yes. He's not a jealous person. He's mature and civilized.
If he was in my place, he'd be jealous. Unless he's too much in love with himself to be jealous of any girl.
Now, you wait a minute. If you want to talk to me alone so you can insult Elliot, I don't see that any purpose can be gained by the meeting.
Sorry, Gwen. It was very unsubtle. I always seem to put both feet in it when I'm around you. That's because I'm nuts about you. Can't think straight.
Well, I accept your apology. I must go.
When do we get together?
I'll speak to Elliot. Probably Monday.
That's a date.
Is that Potter honking? No, it's Elliot. Lois, give Bob a drink before he goes. Have a nice time with Potter.
The best I can hope for is a bearable evening.
Bye, Bob. So long, kid.
What would you like to drink, Bob?
I don't trust myself to have a drink, Lois. If I do, I'll follow them out to that lake and commit murder. Oh, I don't know how to cope with this situation. The professor's such a smooth character.
If you sit down under this and don't fight, you won't get her back.
How can you fight a sponge? That's what he is, a sponge.
Yeah, he was certainly dripping charm all through dinner.
When I think of those two at the lake in the moonlight, my blood begins to curdle.
Dear Bob, I do understand. I suffer for you.
Hey, what the heck do you think you're doing? You know, Robert, I'm ashamed of you. Here I thought you were breaking the heart over Gwendolyn, and I find you consoling yourself with Lois.
Mr. Holly.
It's disgusting. She's still in her tweens. Too young for you. This business of girls playing around with men too old for them must be catchy.
Father, you have a low mind. I was just sympathizing with Robert in his hour of need.
Well, sympathize with him mentally, not physically. And hand me those 2 drinks. That's what I came down for. I suddenly remember them.
You don't want them both. You'll be potted.
I can think of no happier state. And tell me, where are the turtle doves?
They've gone out to the lake for a swim.
What?
Oh, well, don't look so horrified.
Did they take bathing suits?
Well, I saw there was a couple of towels.
Holy smoke. Robert, get your car. You drive Lois out there and chaperone that swim. Make it a foursome.
I said you have a low mind, Father. There are plenty of bathing suits at the cottage.
Yes, but Elliot's allergic to bathing suits. He'll have her in that lake like September morn.
That's all I need to hear. Come on, Lois. My car's in the back drive.
But I've got a date with Potter.
He can hold hands with me. I'm not in. What? Yes, Erickson. What? When? Oh, no! Come in.
A tutti-frutti evening, Mr. Holly.
It is not a tutti-frutti evening. It's the worst evening of my life.
And what's biting you, sir?
Your father, for one thing. He just told me gloatingly on the phone that the night shift in my plant has gone on strike.
Wow, what do you know? Hey, where's Moonglow, Mr. Holly?
Moonglow has stood you up.
The heck she has? Who for?
Robert, they're chasing Gwendolyn.
Gwendolyn? What for?
To rescue her from swimming in her birthday suit with a fossilized Romeo.
And so ends Act 1 of our play. Tonight is Christmas Eve, that magical time of preparation and anticipation when stockings are hung, trees are decorated, and gifts are wrapped in readiness for the morrow. It is also a time for merrymaking, for an exchange of visits and greetings, a time to get out the car and go places. So, when you're using the roads this Christmas, remember this. The greatest, most valuable gift you can bestow on your fellow man is safety. A little too much speed, a moment of distraction, an unexpected mechanical failure in crowded traffic can turn holiday happiness into tragedy and heartbreak. Over the Christmas and New Year holidays last year, 62 people lost their lives on Australian roads. This must not happen again, will not happen if everyone takes reasonable care. 3 main elements govern safety in traffic: the vehicle, the road, and the driver. Of these 3, statistics prove the driver to be by far the most important safety factor. And so, General Motors Holdens join with the Australian Road Safety Council and all similar organizations to ask you sincerely and earnestly to observe the golden rule of the road. This Christmas, and always, treat all others who use our highways as you would like them to treat you. A little more thought, courtesy, and consideration will make this a happier holiday season all round. And now Act 2 of the General Motors Hour production of Be Your Age.
Hello, Potts. This is Lois. Have we got a date tonight? Well, I was kind of counting on it. Daddy and Aunt Grace are out, and Elliot and Gwen wish I was. Wouldn't you like to angle down to the Casbah for a double malted? All right, Potter. I'll be happy to sit at home and watch the baseball game if that's what you want to do. Okay. No, I'll be over in a few minutes. Bye-bye, Dreamboat.
Lois, since when you've been so charming to Potter? You usually treat him like a doormat.
Oh, well, every girl in town is chasing Potter, and he's furious with me.
What caused the rift?
He's mad at me for driving out to the lake with Bob the other night.
So are Elliot and I. You all had a nerve to butt in on our quiet evening and turn it into a house party.
I'm not convinced it was going to be so quiet. I believe Daddy was right. However, as Bob and I got there in the nick of time, I suppose that's something we will never know.
Would you like some coffee, Elliot?
Thank you. You know you're charming. I like you pouring coffee for me. I can just imagine you, the perfect hostess, the youngest and most decorative woman in the room.
If the conversation's too brilliant, I'll also be the dumbest.
The most eloquent thing in the world, my sweet, is beauty, because it inspires others to eloquence.
Speaking of eloquence, I'll need all I can muster for my interview with Robert tonight. You sure you don't mind my seeing him?
Oh, didn't I suggest it? Besides, you're always perfectly free to do anything you like, my dear. Not that I shan't be very jealous.
Oh, you needn't have one more qualm, darling. I can't even imagine kissing him anymore. He seems so young after you. If he made a pass at me, I'd laugh at his face.
Hello, Turtle Dove.
Hello, Daddy, darling.
Am I tired? What a day.
Have you been working very hard?
I haven't been working, I haven't been talking, I've been listening. Blast the strike in Erickson and his confounded news sheet.
Poor old Daddy. Well, come and sit down and entertain Elliot for a few minutes while I change into something pretty. I've asked Robert over. You'll have to go upstairs when he comes.
I've been pushed out of my living room from the day the girls learned to play post office.
Gwen, dear, as long as you're going to dismiss the young man from your life, why do you have to dress up in something pretty?
Elliot, you know that the night I convince him he can never have me is the night I intend to look my most alluring. Now stop being jealous and have a drink with your old schoolmate, huh?
That's not a bad idea. Drink, Elliot?
No, thanks. I can't lap up tipples the way you do.
I'll say this for you, Elliot. Alcohol isn't one of your vices. I can remember even back in college you used to say it interfered with your amatory pursuits.
You have an uncomfortable memory for trivial things.
Well, it's not you as a person I'm kicking against. It's your past life.
I'll bet it's been no worse than yours. Tell me, Archie, haven't you ever thought of remarrying?
I've never met a woman I thought would make a satisfactory mother for my daughters.
It would have done you a lot of good. Having a really sweet young woman look up to you, worship the ground you walk on, could do a lot for a man's ego.
Well, I wish you could have found some sweet young woman to butter up your ego who wasn't my daughter. That must be Robert. Come on in. The door's open.
Evening, Mr. Holly. Evening, Professor. Bit hot tonight, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it certainly is.
Gwen at home?
She's upstairs. And don't look so disconcerted, young man. I'm going out for a drive. Why don't you join me, Archie? A breath of air will cool you off.
I'll cool off upstairs in my sunroom with a little work. I'll tell Gwen you're here, Robert.
Thanks, Mr. Holly. It's nice of you to let me have this little talk with Gwen, Professor. You're a good sport.
Anything to oblige Gwen.
And you needn't worry about her and me. I'm throwing in the towel. I realize now that I can't compete with a guy like you.
Huh. What's brought about the change of front?
Your book. The Mechanism of the Female Mind. Most revealing. It's made me realize how I've always taken Gwen for granted. That's why I've lost her to you.
Hello, Robert. Did I keep you waiting?
Oh, no, not at all.
You certainly look most alluring, my dear. I have to summon up every ounce of my willpower to tear myself away.
That's what I love about you, Elliot. You think of the sweetest way of saying things.
Oh, well, I'll be getting along. I'll be home in time to kiss you good night. Good night, Robert.
Good night, Professor.
Elliot's a darling. When I asked him to go out, he agreed like a lamb. Bob, I feel I owe you an explanation. I've given you a dirty deal, haven't I? I didn't mean to. It was just one of those things.
You don't have to explain. We were never formally engaged.
I know. Still, it was understood. At least I thought it was. That someday we'd marry.
I should have made it official by giving you a ring, but I didn't want to cramp your style while you were at college. I took a gamble and lost.
Bob, I'm awfully sorry.
Forget it. I hope you'll be very happy.
I always want us to be friends.
I can never be friends with you, Gwen. Do you know why? Because I love you. Men can't be friends with the women they love. They can worship them, even hate them, but never just be friends.
You've never spoken to me like this before.
No, I haven't. And as I shan't get a chance to again, I may as well go on. I've adored you, Gwen, ever since I saw you going off to school with pigtails hanging down your back. You were the loveliest thing I'd ever seen. And I've never changed my opinion.
That's a very sweet thing to say.
It's funny. Now that I've lost you to someone else, I don't seem to be so tongue-tied. I suddenly feel able to tell you things, to tell you how much I've always needed you.
I've got your fraternity pin here. I want to give it back to you.
Do you remember the night I gave you this?
Uh-huh. Was it a dance out of Brookside?
We walked over to the first green. The moon was shining so brightly you could almost see the colored pebbles in the sand trap. You had on a pink dress and wore a silver ribbon in your hair.
And then you kissed me.
Yeah. Like this. I suddenly feel able to tell you things, to tell you how much I've always needed you.
I've got your fraternity pin here. I want to give it back to you.
Do you remember the night I gave you this?
Uh-huh. Was it a dance out of Brookside?
We walked over to the first green. The moon was shining so brightly you could almost see the colored pebbles in the sand trap. You had on a pink dress and wore a silver ribbon in your hair.
And then you kissed me.
Yeah. Like this.
Oh. No, not a bit like that.
That's what I used to dream of doing all the time you were away.
Oh, darling, you mustn't. I'm engaged.
To me, you'll always be my girl.
Oh, this evening isn't going a bit as I planned.
I'm sorry, Gwen, but I can't be alone with you and not touch you and love you. I'll have to go. Good night. And goodbye, darling.
Bob, you forgot your pin. Bob? How many more do we have to do, Aunt Grace?
About 20.
Oh, I wish we were having a small wedding. We seem to be inviting everybody in town. Well, that can't be Lois and Elliot back so soon, can it?
Why don't you go and see?
All right, I will. Oh, it's you.
Hi.
Is that you, Robert? Don't keep him standing in the hall, Gwen.
I'm sorry, Bob. Come in.
Thanks. I Hope I'm not disturbing you.
How nice to see you, Robert. You haven't been near us for 10 days.
I saw the professor and Lois drive off earlier in his car, and I thought you might be sitting around.
Oh, we are. We're sitting around working, addressing wedding invitations. It's quite a job.
What I really came for is, you remember the last time I was here?
Yes?
You gave me back my pin, and I left it somewhere. I think on the coffee table there.
Oh, did you? I didn't notice.
I thought I ought to retrieve it. I mean, I might want to wear it at a college reunion sometime.
I'll ask the maid if she found it when she was dusting next day.
Well, it must be about somewhere, Robert, if you left it lying there.
Gosh, Miss Randall, the last thing I want back is that pin. I was only trying to think of some excuse to come over and see Gwen.
Robert, I want to talk to you quickly while I have the chance. I think Gwen's changed, that she feels differently about Elliot.
You do?
Yes. She hasn't been herself for over a week now, and I've heard her crying in her room night after night. I don't think in her heart she wants to go through with it.
That's wonderful.
No, not in her case. Any other girl would break her engagement. But Gwen's too proud to admit that she's made a mistake. She'll walk down that aisle if her heart is breaking.
Well, we can't let her. She's got to be stopped. I've been thinking of an idea that might work. The time has come for desperate action.
Oh, dear. Oh, what sort of desperate action?
Well, I think Potter Erickson is the one to help me. He's strong and eager and kind of dangling from your family tree.
But why do you need somebody strong and eager? You're not planning to beat up Elliot, are you?
Oh, no, nothing like that. But if I can make Gwen feel that I'm dependent on it... Oh, here she is, Skip it.
No, the maid didn't find her pin, Robert. She thinks it may have been picked up with some old newspaper she threw out, but I think it's been mislaid.
Oh, I expect it will turn up. Well, I guess I'll be going.
Oh, you don't have to go. You could stick around till Elliot gets back.
Thanks, but I have some urgent business to attend to. Good night, Miss Randall.
Good night, Robert.
I'll be seeing you, Gwen. Bye.
Bye.
He's such a nice boy.
Yes.
He'll make some girl a very good husband. Maybe that's why he wanted his pin. Maybe he's getting interested in somebody else.
Maybe. Well, anyway, it's a matter of complete indifference to me. Let's get on with the invitations. Oh, Elliot, you're back.
Come and sit beside me and hold my hand. I feel I haven't seen anything of you the last week or so.
Oh, there's been so much to do. Shopping for my trousseau, all those fittings.
Oh, cheer up. This time next week, we'll be over the hills.
And far away.
You'll belong to me. You're not very affectionate, my sweet. What's the matter?
Oh, I guess I'm tired. I think I'm scared of the whole thing as it grows closer. But that's silly.
I'm very sensitive to people's moods. I date a change in you from the night I left you alone with Robert. Darling, did anything happen that night that you haven't told me? Did you kiss him goodbye?
Oh, not exactly. He kissed me.
What?
Well, he grabbed me suddenly. I didn't expect it.
I hope you didn't hurt his feelings by laughing too hard.
Well, why should I laugh?
Don't you recall saying you couldn't imagine kissing him anymore, that you'd die laughing right in his face?
I couldn't somehow. He was so sincere and pathetic and upset. I felt so sorry for him.
That's it, Gwen. Sorrow. You've got a goat complex about Robert.
Yes, of course. I've even dreamed about him twice in the last week.
Well, now that you've admitted the trouble, you'll be able to put him out of your mind.
Gwen! Hey, Gwen, there's been an accident.
What? Is that you, Potter?
Yeah, it's Robert. He's been hurt. Can I put him on the couch?
Oh, no, wait a minute. Be gentle with him. What's the matter with him? What happened?
There.
Oh.
There. Well, I was walking along the street, and suddenly I saw Robert in an argument with two strikers from your father's plant.
Huh?
Yeah, and all of a sudden, fists are flying, and Robert's down for the count.
Oh, poor Bobby.
I think he may have hit the back of his head when he fell.
Oh.
Maybe he has a concussion.
Concussion? Oh, that's serious. Oh, dear. His eye is turning black. Elliot, run across the street and fetch Dr. Brogan, the big white house near the bus stop.
Well, of course, dear. Though I'm sure there's nothing to worry about. He's probably just stopped.
Oh.
I took him home first, but nobody's there.
His mother's in Cleveland. We'll have to keep him here and nurse him. I'll go and tell Aunt Grace. Aunt Grace? Aunt Grace, Robert's been hurt. He needs me to look after him.
Did you hear those musical words, Potter? He needs me to look after him. Boy, she's falling for it.
Pipe down, she may hear you.
And you needn't have been so thorough. I think you'd have sliced the tooth.
You wanted it to look real, so I had to give you a good sock.
I said give me a gentle tap.
Where's the dead duck?
Slow, slide back, you dope. Too late.
Oh, so you've come too.
Quiet.
What's cooking here?
We're pulling a gag on Gwen to make her realize she's in love with Robert. Now cooperate, Moonglow, or I'll comb your hair with a rake.
Don't you think we're all a little too old for this type of parlor game?
Jeepers.
I really am surprised at you, Robert. You were so obviously faking. I didn't go for the doctor. I watched this horseplay through the window.
All right, Professor. You score again. I suppose it was stupid.
Stupid? It was utterly childish. Far more typical of Lois's silly bobby socks behavior than yours.
Now listen, Mr. Bookworm. Nobody's going to call Moonglow silly in my presence and get away with it.
Now suppose you stay out of this, Potter.
Yes, Potter. This is a matter between me and the Professor.
I disagree. You just insulted my girl, so...
Hey, Potts, take it easy.
Holy mackerel, Potts, you've knocked him cold on the couch defending my honor.
Hey, what happened? I only poked him once. Must have been a lucky punch.
I heard something snap. I think you cracked his wishbone.
I knew if you tapped that old bird, he'd fall apart.
Well, what are we going to do with the pieces?
Oh, am I in the soup, but good. Now Gwen will think he needs her, and she'll never forgive me. I'm getting out of here. I don't dare face her.
But what shall we say? How shall we explain it?
You think up something, Lois. You've got more imagination than I have. All I can think of is to really get the doctor.
Is that Elliot back for the doctor?
No.
Oh, wish he'd hurry. Is he conscious yet?
Hasn't flickered an eyelid.
Well, I've got an ice towel. That'll make him feel better. Robert, speak to me. Elliot? What's he doing on the couch? Oh, what happened to him? Where's Robert?
There's been a switch of corpses.
Oh, Elliot. Oh, he's so pale and helpless. What can I do for you, darling?
What's all this about Robert being hurt?
He recovered and went for the doctor. It's a minor miracle.
Well, what? Good grief. What's happened to poor old fish face?
He swallowed a left hook. I shouldn't have hit a man 3 times my age.
So you hit him?
Yeah, well, I'm sorry.
I'm delighted. I wanted to slug the old son of a gun for days.
And so ends Act 2 of our play. Poets and writers in many lands have written much about Christmas. But nothing expresses the spirit of this great festival better than that first Christmas greeting, peace on earth, goodwill to men. Peace on earth. Australians are fortunate that our country is at peace this Christmas. Fortunate, too, that this period of peace has made possible an era of unprecedented industrial expansion, bringing in turn greater employment opportunities and a high standard of living. We can, for instance, derive deep satisfaction from the fact that 1 in every 4 Australians now owns a motor car. But our ownership carries with it far-reaching responsibilities. And that is where the second part of our quotation comes in, goodwill to men. General Motors Holdens ask every motorist to demonstrate goodwill this Christmas by driving with the utmost care and courtesy. 62 Australians lost their lives on our roads at this time last year. Goodwill, expressed in careful, considerate driving, will avoid a repetition of this tragic total. By doing so, it will make all the difference between safety and injury, life and death, sorrow and happiness. Whether you are a pedestrian or a motorist, General Motors Holdens and everyone at GMH wish you a happy Christmas and a most enjoyable holiday season. And now here is the final act in the General Motors Hour production of Be Your Age.
Here's another pair of bookends, Aunt Grace.
Because Gwen's marrying a professor, the bookends are beating the ashtrays 4-1.
Say, when do we eat? I'm starved.
Later. Now the strike's settled, your father had so much work to catch up on. You should have gone to the country club. You were invited.
Oh, I didn't want to go to a silly old kitchen show with all Gwen's most intimate friends. They regard me as an adolescent.
And aren't you?
At least I'm not so infantile I go to the altar with a man I'm not in love with.
That in itself is a very infantile conclusion.
Well, I still feel that Gwen might have changed her mind about marrying Elliot if she'd been nursing Robert instead of him.
Perhaps. But she's so disgusted with Robert that in the 10 days since Elliot's unfortunate accident, she won't speak to him. And Elliot's injury has her more deeply involved with him than ever. From the way she's dramatizing it, you'd think that Potter had maimed Elliot for life. He only cracked a couple of ribs. And speaking of Robert, has anyone seen him lately? How's his eye?
Potter says it's faded to a delicate blue.
He certainly stayed away from this house.
Daddy told me yesterday he thought he'd thrown in the sponge.
I could wring your sweet sister's pretty neck. Ah, well, I'd better take some of these empty boxes out to the incinerator.
Okay, Aunt Grace, I'll open some of these.
Anybody home? Oh, hello, Moonglow.
Hi, Dad.
Jumping Jehoshaphat. What a shambles.
Now, don't start fussing, Daddy. Remember, all this loot is for free.
Free? Why, this clam baker's sending me back $2,000. If I have to face up to this matrimonial racket again, I'll end up in the poorhouse. So see that you and your sister Vicky remain old maids.
Huh? Some hope.
Oh, good morning.
Oh, morning, Elliot. How's your spare ribs this morning?
Very tender. Quite a pile of stuff here, isn't there?
Oh, I'll answer that.
Well, I'm glad your strike's over, Archie.
If it had gone on any longer, I'd have finished up on the bread line.
Holy mackerel, Gwen, what a pile of stuff. Take half of them, will you, Lois? Put them in the kitchen.
Okay.
Oh, Daddy, take these, will you? I can't hold them much longer.
Righto. Hey, these are a lot of pots and pans for a girl who can't even fry an egg.
And where shall we put them? You haven't seen my kitchenette, Gwen. It's about the size of your aunt's linen closet.
Oh, we'll manage somehow. How are you, darling?
The happiest man alive. Tuesday's only 3 days away. Did you enjoy your luncheon?
It was a lovely party.
Which reminds me, I've had no lunch. I feel a little hollow.
Well, it should be on the table. You go along, Elliot. Tell Grace I'll be there in a second. I want a word with Gwen.
Elliot, darling, you're very neglectful. Give me a kiss first.
Oh, careful. My ribs.
Oh, I'm sorry. I must try to remember it.
On Tuesday, we better pin a label on him.
That won't apply to you, darling. The fact that Tuesday has come at last will make me well again.
You look kind of tired, my dear.
All these premarital parties are wearing me out. I'll be thankful when the whole thing's over. I'm exhausted.
And perhaps this is the wrong moment to ask you to do something for me.
What is it? You sound so serious.
Well, Robert's coming over to see you.
Oh, Daddy, I wish he wasn't. I've nothing to say to him.
Well, he has something to say to you. He wants to say goodbye.
Is he going away?
For a long time. I want you to try and persuade him not to do something he may regret for the rest of his life.
Why, Daddy? What?
Well, he's determined to get as far away from here as possible. He's proposing to bury himself in an Amazon jungle.
Doing what?
Oh, routine construction job for the Brazilian government.
But it's ridiculous. Well, can't you stop it?
Well, frankly, my dear, I haven't the heart to. I understand his feelings only too well. When I lost your mother, I just wanted to go off and hide myself from everyone. If it hadn't been for you and Vicky and Lois, I think I'd have done it.
So you're blaming me that is doing this silly thing?
Why else would the boy want to throw away his brilliant prospects here?
Now, Daddy, that's not fair. I can't be held responsible for his decisions. I can't live his life for it.
Say, now, isn't that remark just a little callous, Gwen?
Just because I'm not over-sentimental, it doesn't mean that I'm heartless inside.
Then you've conveyed the wrong impression. Oh, I know it was a silly trick that Bob played, but he only did it because he loves you. He wrote, apologized. You might have met him halfway.
He didn't deserve an answer.
Very well. But I'll tell you one thing. You'll be leaving the church with Elliot on the wrong foot if you don't clear up your responsibilities to Robert. He is your responsibility, however much you may try to run away from the fact. He loves you. He's turning his back on his future because you've hurt him. If you're the girl I think you are, you'll make an effort to bring him back to his senses.
I wouldn't know how. He wouldn't listen to anything I said.
He might, if you could find the right words.
Well, the only words which would keep him here, I can't say.
Well, won't you do your best to please me?
All right, Daddy. When does he leave?
Monday.
As soon as that?
Well, the day before your wedding, Gwen. Ah, there he is. I'll go let him in. Okay. I'm sorry you have to face this difficult problem, my darling, but... Well, that's one of the penalties of growing up. Thank you. Oh, it wasn't Robert, Gwen. It's this box for you.
Oh, my wedding dresses. Thank you, Daddy.
I left the door open for Robert, and I'll go upstairs while you try to think what to say to him. And, good luck, darling.
My dress. Here comes the bride. Here.
Hello? Hello? Anybody home? Oh, Gwen.
Oh, hello, Robert. I was trying on my veil.
Don't take it off. Let me see it.
All right.
It's lovely. You're going to make a beautiful bride.
Thank you.
Got something in your eye?
No. Yes, I think I have. It's been watering for the last hour.
Let me have a look. Yeah, it's all red. No, can't see a thing.
It must be out. It's probably just irritated. How's your eye?
Sore.
Daddy tells me you're going away.
Yep.
Brazil.
Yep.
Well, now, what do you do with yourself all the time in the middle of the jungle?
Kill things? Big snakes, big cats, big crocodiles.
Big mosquitoes?
I'll take a giant-sized swatter.
Well, you don't have to go to the Amazon to kill mosquitoes. They say they're the size of hummingbirds in New Jersey.
New Jersey's too near the George Washington Bridge.
No, Bob, don't go away. It's wrong. It's crazy. It's running out on things.
Sorry, Gwen, but I must work this out my own way.
Well, is there nothing I can say to all of you?
My mind's made up. But there is one favor you could do for me. There's a mental picture I'd like to carry away with me.
What?
You in your bridal gown. I've imagined it hundreds of times.
Then why don't you stay till Tuesday?
You wouldn't be alone with me then. You are now. Put on the rest of your dress for me.
Well, it's bad luck for anybody to see me.
Not for anybody, just the groom.
Well...
Please, Gwen. It's the last thing I'll ever ask you to do.
Well, turn your back. I'll slip it on for a second.
All right. How's that?
Thank you.
My pen!
What?
My fraternity pin, the one you mislaid. That's where you mislaid it, on your slip.
How dare you? You thief!
I didn't. I just watched you in that mirror. You've got my pin on the front of your slip. You love me. You love me.
No.
Why else would you pretend my pin was lost? Oh, Gwen, darling, you love me.
I do not. You're wrong. I'm marrying Elliot.
That's what he thinks. You don't love him.
I do.
Holy mackerel, what a lie. Oh, Gwen, darling.
No, you can't. You must.
Oh, darling.
Gwendolyn!
What?
Elliot.
What's the meaning of this scandalous behavior?
Don't talk to me in that tone of voice. Zip me up.
Why don't you ask Robert? He probably unzipped you.
He did nothing of the sort.
I'll be happy to oblige, darling.
You keep your hands off me.
That request is a little late, isn't it?
I don't know what you're inferring, Elliot. You're making a scene about nothing.
About nothing? I come in here and find the boy half eating you and you call it nothing?
We were merely saying goodbye. Oh, what's come over you, Elliot? I thought you were a broad-minded man of the world who never got jealous.
Don't attack me because you're in the wrong. That's a typical female trick.
I won't discuss psychology with you until you regain your temper and cool down.
Very well. Let me ask you quite calmly. Was that charming, intimate little scene I just witnessed one of a series?
Listen, Professor, don't take it out on Gwen. It was all my fault. She didn't have anything to do with it.
From what I observed, she was having a great deal to do with it. How many more episodes have there been like that, Gwendolyn? You admitted you kissed Robert the night I left you alone with him. Your mind's been out of the window ever since, and now I walk into the room and find you twined around him like a boa constrictor. All I want is an assurance from you that this relationship with Robert has stopped at necking.
Oh!
Darling, this is no time for one of your displays of obstinacy. You have your choice of putting my mind at rest or calling the whole thing off.
I won't do it. You can't walk out on me, practically at the church door. I insist that you marry me.
Look, sweetheart, I'll save your face for you. If the professor lets you down, I'll step into his shoes. In a way, I suppose I owe it to your father, after what we've been to each other all this week.
Robert, what are you talking about?
I warned you the professor might catch on.
Bob!
Oh, don't bother to throw a surprise act, darling. The professor's a smart egg. He knows I've been alone in my house all week.
Oh, Bob, Come to think what you're saying, you may be wrecking my wedding.
You better give him back his mother's ring.
I won't give it back to him. I won't.
She will, Professor. Gwen's not a gold digger.
Gold? Oh.
No hard feelings, Professor. To a man who's studied women all his life, it can't be too much of a shock to find out she's been carrying on with me.
I have not carried on with them.
You said that women were unpredictable creatures. I was the one who got the surprise when she tiptoed across the lawn and tapped on my door.
I did not tap on your... I hate you. I loathe you. I utterly despise you.
Oh, my eye! Gwen, don't think that because Robert says that...
Don't talk to me. It's all your fault.
Oh, my ribs.
Oh, I hate men.
What have you two big bullies been doing to my little girl?
What have we been doing? I'll be in plaster for another year.
And I'll just be plastered.
What is all this? Who's been fighting who and what about?
They've both been insulting me. Elliot's been horrid and Robert's been worse.
Mr. Holly, I came in to say goodbye and found Gwen wearing my fraternity
If
band.
you'd seen what I saw, Baldy, you'd think I was entitled to.
Quiet! Quiet! Hold yourself together. Now, let's cut out this theory. Give me the facts like a rational human being. Now, Elliot, you're the oldest person here. What have you to say?
I've discovered in pretty convincing terms that your daughter's fallen out of love with me. I've suspected it for quite a while.
Oh.
I was conceited enough to think that after we were married, she'd learn to love me in time. A typical manifestation of male ego. But the lid's off the cauldron. It'll break my heart to lose you, Gwen, but better today than tomorrow.
But Elliot...
Gwen, darling, a mistake is nothing to be ashamed of. I know it takes guts to admit that you've been wrong, but you have courage. That's one of the reasons I fell in love with you. Don't let me down, Gwen. I don't want you to marry me just because you had a guilt complex and felt sorry for me. Now, come on. Let's have it. You do love Robert, don't you?
Yes. Yes, I do. Oh, Elliot.
Mind my ribs.
Sweet Elliot, you're a darling. I do love Bob. But I wouldn't marry him if he was the last man alive.
Because he lied about your tiptoeing through the garden? But nobody would believe that.
Merciful heavens, what a stubborn mule I've given birth to. The girl's just admitted she loves the boy. You know, it'd serve you right, Gwen, if you ended up as an old maid. Now, you go over there at once and tell that boy you'll marry him.
Never, never, never.
Archie, it's beginning to dawn on me that I've had a lucky escape. I'm much too old to cope with that stubborn nature.
I'm much too young. You can keep him, Mr. Holly. Why, I wouldn't marry that girl unless she asked me on her bended knees. Come on, Professor. Let's have a drink and celebrate our freedom.
Let's have a couple of drinks.
Oh, no, wait a minute, Robert. Daddy is right. I'm a silly, proud fool. On my bended knees. Will you take this stubborn mule to be your wedded wife?
I'll think it over. I've thought it over. The answer's I will.
Oh, praise the Lord and pass the champagne. Oh, I'm sorry, Fishface. Nothing personal, but I'm a complete loss what to say to you. I don't know whether you're miserable, happy, furious, or relieved.
I'm resigned.
My sole objection to you has always been that I couldn't bear the idea of a son-in-law older than myself. Now, who's that? Hello? Who? Vicky? Well, why, what's wrong? Now, don't tell me you can't be here for your sister's wedding. What? You've just been married yourself? But who to? Pinky Butterworth? Wait, Harvey. Hey! Does anybody know who Pinky Butterworth is?
Yes, Archie. He's a big Broadway producer, and he's 63 if he's a day.
And so ends the General Motors Hour production of Be Your Age, written by Mary Orr and Reginald Denham, in which you heard the following players. As Potter, John Ewart. Grace, Fifi Banvard. Lois, Jan Coghlan. Bob, Derek Barnes. Elliot, Leonard Bullen. Archibald Holly, Reginald Collins. And as Gwendolen, you heard our star, Maddie Head. The General Motors Hour is directed by Harry Harper, who produced tonight's play. 1 week from tonight, ladies and gentlemen, the General Motors Hour will present The Weatherman. We may often have wished to make our own weather, but Joe Doolittle found that he could. And what complications that caused. Heading our cast in this improbable but very amusing comedy is Ben Gabriel, with Mark Kelly, Francis Worthington, Ethel Fleming, Amber May Cecil, Bruce Beebe, Derek Barnes, Don Crosby, John Tate, and Reginald Collins. And now, a closing message. Good roads save tires, petrol, maintenance costs, and lives. Whenever and wherever there is a movement to get better roads, support it. And remember, 1 week from tonight, the General Motors Hour production of The Weatherman, starring Ben Gabriel. Until then, this is John Deese saying good night to you all from the General Motors Hour, which now signs off from the Macquarie Network and cooperating stations throughout Australia.
Thanks for listening, and until next time.
That's all, folks.